Hey there, Chief. Dennis Farina here, and welcome to JSYK with the Dennis Farina. Just so you know, I'll be talking for most of this.
Oh, I don't think so. This is the Cage Man. The Cage Man on Caged, Uncaged podcast with your main caster, Nicholas freaking Cage.
Now, I gotta wonder, and I'm sure you do too, how this midge named Nicolas Cage thinks he can be uncaged.
Who is this midge you're talking about? It's the Cage Man. How do you not know this?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, guys, it's
Right.
our podcast. It's D podcast
That's
with your
right.
main bros slamming skits.
Well then, just so you know, I'll be leaving for most of this.
Not D's podcasters.
What's going on, guys? Slamming Skits back again for another episode of D Podcast.
Yeah,
Isn't that
what's going
right?
on? Heck yeah. What's going on, guys? Hey there, Chief.
Dennis Farina. Welcome to our museum.
This is a podcast that I've been really excited for, actually.
Me too,
Especially
man.
since of all the stuff I'm going to talk about. So, why don't we start with the Hendry? Hendry, what's going on in the Hendry world?
Well,
Hendry's
let's see.
world.
I got a brand new microphone here. It costs like $130, and hopefully it's gonna sound really good. But I guess we'll see once we finish recording this episode.
I'm just using my microphone on my Apple headphones. So yeah, there you go.
It's got pretty good quality.
I mean, yeah, it should. After spending like $1,500 on a phone, might as well get some good earbuds. Holy crap!
Real. Got those AirPods.
Speaking, not AirPods, it's earbuds. Like my
Oh.
computer can't hook up to AirPods because I don't have a Mac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Those cost like $3,500.
And two brand,
yeah,
I think
I ain't
their way.
I ain't about max having to spend like close to $1 million just for a home computer. Speaking of which, the new iPhone 11 made a thing. First of all, I wonder why they didn't call any of their phones Apple 9. Like, what the heck?
For the iPhone 9?
Yeah, the iPhone 9. What the heck? What's up with this?
I don't know. That's kind of weird, isn't it?
It is. Like, what the heck? It's like
Huh.
they totally like they had the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 8 Plus or whatever, and then they had the iPhone 10, the iPhone 10R, and the iPhone whatever other 10 thing there was, and then all of a sudden they're going for the iPhone 11, and you're like, what? The
Huh.
heck? What's going on? Why?
I don't know.
Oh my
that's
gosh,
that's messed up, isn't it?
It is. Son.
Yeah.
Of course, you're all about the Google Android
Ooh,
phones.
Google.
Uh,
Yes.
Google phones. My gosh.
Android, man.
Android or Google Pixel, whatever.
I don't know about Pixel. That maybe isn't so good.
Actually, it was kind of funny that Google Pixel, like, I guess, quote unquote, allowed some people to, like, pirate their like news, I guess, and they kind of released the new Google Pixel like while iPhone was doing their little keynotes or whatever.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, son, I can hear the guitar.
I hear it too, and it sounds beautiful.
You know what also sounds beautiful? The voice that's coming
Oh,
out.
guess what? No more guitar.
No more guitar.
Can't hear it now.
No, good. Anyway.
But that's a cool feature of my new mic. I can play a guitar through it while speaking in it.
Oh wow, that's just so boneless. It
And- Yeah.
makes me cringe.
Mhm.
Anywho, what's exciting is the fact that the iPhone 11, it's got like the biggest feature, like the only feature that's different from like the iPhone 8.
Yeah.
Is the fact that it's got two like real cameras now on the iPhone. Like on the back. Like I got the iPhone 10, right? And
Right.
there's like two cameras in it, but it's like connected by one like lens, I guess. This one has like two lenses. It's like two like not connected cameras like connected with each other, so it's got like this all new like specs and stuff. Also, what I'm kind of excited for actually, especially if you're a photojournalist major in college or just like a camera enthusiast in general, I guess. There's this iPhone 11 Pro that has 3 cameras.
That is correct.
Yeah, attached
You're
to each
right.
other. Now, like, you only get like a cool spec, but you can also get like depth to it, which I gotta say, that's actually a pretty decent feature. I gotta say, that's really, really good.
It is. I agree. That is pretty neat.
The worst part about it, though, is that it costs $1,500.
D beep is that,
What the hell is this? I mean,
man?
Max, okay? Max
More like
costs
craps.
$1,500, not phones.
That's the base model Mac, maybe.
Yes, the base model Mac costs like $1,500.
Yeah,
What the heck? And it goes even higher.
it does. It really does,
Why-
doesn't it?
I wonder why schools even bother with this. I mean, Macs aren't even that great, honestly.
I mean, they have good hardware, and they get, the exclusive software. They're good if you're gonna do like creative, like music production, video production stuff for a career. But
yeah, but you can do the same thing with PC. PC is where it's at because it's cheaper, and you actually
Yeah.
get the same stuff for like half the cost of a Mac.
well, I would say the software for the graphic design and editing stuff is probably better quality at the professional end. However, if you're not doing that, I don't see a reason to get one PC
Yeah.
all the way. That's why I have a PC.
Yeah, I have PC too, but I think you want to do professional as well. Like, there are, like, things on the internet where you can get it for, like, really cheap. You can buy these things from, like, PC and make it as good as, like, a Mac, but for, like, half the worth of a Mac.
Yeah, it's a little pricey.
Yes,
But-
Macs are pricey.
You have to remember, maybe their targeted audience isn't very tech savvy.
I don't know, whatever. I'll go with PC all the way. I'll be
I
professional
will
on a
too.
PC.
I will too, for much of the same reasons.
Apple just went down the drain since Steve died, honestly, in my opinion. They're coming out with a streaming service called
Oh boy.
Apple TV Plus.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and they don't have... I guess they don't have any, like, prior, like, contents to stream. All they have is, like, brand new shows, and it's not really quite... It's kind of interesting if you're, like, a movie buff and a TV buff, but it's really... If you're not, it's kind of boring, almost. There's, like, a talk show series with Reese Witherspoon and Oprah.
Oh wow.
And there's, like, Steven Spielberg is making a show on there, and, like, Aquaman, the guy who played Aquaman's doing a show on there.
Oh boy.
Of course, none of this is coming out, like, during the launch, so I don't know what the point of it is. Yeah, they're gonna be good shows, but when are they gonna be on the thing?
Huh. Exactly.
I think there's only gonna be, like, two shows at
Yeah.
the launch.
Yeah.
And the Hendry's just like, duh, I don't know anything about these.
Well, I'm agreeing with what you're saying. Duh.
Ah, well, alright then.
Exactly.
Anything you want to talk about before I dive into something that is on my mind?
Well, the only other thing going on for my life is I purchased an antique telephone from a store
I
not too
saw
far
that.
from me. It's from the
You
1950s.
got a rotary phone.
Yes, it's an ancient rotary dial phone from the 1950s. Actually, if you want to get technical, it's funny. So, the phone companies used to lease you the telephone, and you didn't actually buy it. So
Yeah, that's super weird. That's super weird. But
it is,
continue.
and you get it from them, but you didn't technically own the phone. So
Yeah, you
eventually-
rented out phones.
I guess,
But-
kind of, yeah.
What the heck is?
I don't know.
Gosh, it's like
It gets better. So basically, in an effort to save costs, so when the phone units would get sent back after they were in service for a while, they would get refurbished and reused. So
oh, so it's like a it's like one of the 3-year protection plan or whatever that you see
Kind
on
of.
like Amazon
Kind
or
of.
Apple or something.
yeah, kind of.
Except they're actually renting it out, which is so it's
It is weird.
yeah, like what the heck? Like what if someone just like junks it up so bad? Like
I know,
I don't get it. Like
but
if they didn't
so-
pay it, would they just rip it off your wall? I mean, what the heck?
I'm not sure.
It is so
I guess
stupid.
they would. They'd come uninstall it. I don't know. Anyway, so it turns out that in the mid 50s they came out with this model where they built it using leftover parts from the previous model and made it look like the current model. And that's what mine is. So it looks like the 50s model, but it's got the parts from the model from like the 30s or the 40s that they had in their warehouse, which is hilarious.
It's an electrical engineering marvel.
It is. Ooh,
I can do that.
ooh, I can. Anyway, bottom line, this bad boy works. It's built like a tank, and it feels like it's built way sturdier than the landline phone that I got here, like at Walmart. So,
Yeah, well,
oh,
they knew how to build stuff back in the day.
did.
It
Why
wasn't-
can't they do that?
Why? Because they make it cheap so you can buy another one, aka
And,
more money.
I guess it's that planned obsolescence,
I guess it
Could be.
happened like in the 80s. People were like, "Hey, why make something great when you can make something cheap?" And then it breaks, and then people have to continuously buy it.
Yeah,
It's terrible, but it's a good business model. I mean, if
yeah.
I was a business, that would sound good to me. More money flowing into it, but for the customer, it's terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, before we, get into our regularly scheduled programming, I, got something to say about a certain person on YouTube.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
I bet he lives in Illinois.
He lives in Chicago.
Ah, I bet he's a midge.
Oh, he is.
I gotta wonder.
You wonder who he is. Let's,
I already know for
let's-
most of this.
yes, let's, dive into this wretched company.
Oh,
Now, to be fair, let me just lay it all out there. I don't know this person personally. I haven't even seen him. I don't know any of the people in general, and I haven't been in contact with this company. So take that with a grain of salt. All that I've heard is what I've heard on the internet, aka YouTube, and there's a bunch of different sides to this story. So take this opinion with a grain of salt.
Yes,
I
just
see.
1 grain.
Yes, I suggest going online and researching this for yourself. And now we shall begin.
Go for it.
Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic.
Oh boy.
He's getting a lot of flack on the web.
The nostalgia critic himself!
Yeah.
God!
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. Okay, so I have watched the Nostalgia Critic for a while, and
Yeah.
although I've kind of grown a little bit, matured a little bit, and even though I don't think a lot of his stuff is quite funny anymore, like I still get a laugh out of him sometimes, like especially in the early stuff. The early stuff is kind of where it's at.
Yeah.
However, apparently there's been some business practices that he and his parent company, Channel Awesome,
Yeah.
hasn't been been letting going on that isn't quite good. Before
wow.
that, let me just say who he is. I guess Doug Walker is the Nostalgia Critic. He back in the day, he used to talk about nostalgic movies like I don't know, the Secret of Nim, Neverending Story, what else? The Good Son, and
Son.
Teenage Mutant, The Good Son, which by the way is a horror movie by Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin plays this really creepy kid who kills people. It's
Oh, wait, we saw that in Walmart somewhere, didn't we?
probably
I remember we did, and we laughed. It was hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's a hilariously bad movie. Anyway, so talks about a lot of stuff like Roger and Ebert, who are technically nostalgic. So a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
And one of his friends, who apparently still works with him, collaborates with him sometimes, is AVGN, aka the Angry Video Game Nerd, who, by the way, is like part of another company, or used to be part of another company, I guess. And
Cinemassacre.
Cinemassacre.
Yep.
And I think that's not the parent company, but that's his company. It's his company that's owned by, I guess, another company or whatever. Anyway, Cinemassacre is his channel. The overall company is something else. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, it's the AVGN is like their flagship show, I guess, and Nostalgia Critic is Channel Awesome's flagship show.
Yeah.
And the Nostalgia Critic's channel was that guy with the glasses.
Right.
And then their parent company was Channel Awesome, but then something happened earlier down the road, in 2012, and now Channel Awesome is the YouTube channel and the parent company, which is weird, but whatever. Anyway, so they've been together. They've had some fights online and all that. Not real fights. They're kind of playing it off, kind of like wrestling, almost like Batman versus Superman and all that.
Oh, okay.
It was funny, and now they collaborate on some things together, mostly on the Critics channel, not a whole lot on the Cinemassacre's channel, which is probably for the best.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Because, and here's the big thing, there's some business practices that haven't been so great over at Channel Awesome.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have the Nostalgia Critic, but you used to have, at least, a lot of other critics in the Channel Awesome brand, like Lakira, there was Obscurus Lupa,
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of other and you still have the Cinema Snob, you had Battle Geek, a bunch of other smaller ones.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, aren't as great as the Nostalgia Critic. I've never heard of these people until they started coming out and doing their things, but yeah. Anywho, there's this main focus on Doug Walker and his
Right.
channel, The Nostalgia Critic, and all the other ones were kind of left on the wayside. Like they weren't getting paid. They were being they were doing these like collaboration movies, right?
Right.
And they were pretty much being starved. They weren't being paid to do them because in the lawful side, I guess, they were volunteering their time to do this. Like, some people had to fly from Great Britain over to Chicago just to shoot these things.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't get compensated for it at all.
Oh god, that's horrible.
Yeah, and they were like starving. They were working like 12-hour days, over 12-hour days to get this completely done. These movies like done, and it was atrocious. It was just atrocious times to do it. And so yeah, a lot of terrible stuff happened in the movies with their movies. Doug Walker even told some of the critics that they would never be famous because they sucked at their job. And it was their living, okay? How would you like it if someone came up to you who was pretty much on your level and told you in electrical engineering words that you suck and you'll never be a good electrical engineer, okay?
Well, that was electrical engineering words, really, so...
What?
I don't think there's a special phrase for that.
I mean, no, but how would you like it if someone came up and be like, yo, you suck at electrical engineering. You'll never be a great one. You'll never succeed in life. That's pretty much what he told everybody. And there was just a lot of...
Wait. The critic told these people that?
Yeah, the critic told these people that they were terrible critics and they would never amount to anything. Like Obscurus Lupa, who got terrible treatment toward her. Anyway.
Yeah, that's horrible. I don't support that at all.
I don't support that at all either. It's kind of making me want to unsubscribe to him.
Understandably so.
Yeah.
Like, do it.
Anyway, so there's a lot of bull crap going on. There's even more stuff that I'm not even mentioning, so I highly suggest you go online and figure this out. But anyway, like with Lakira and a bunch of other people. Anyway, also the company itself was kind of pigeonholing these younger, like lesser known people to be like the Nostalgia Critic, even though that wasn't their way. That wasn't their style. They were like making them do all this bull crap to make themselves act and sound like the Nostalgia Critic and how he does reviews.
Wow.
And without not doing their own creative like things online, which is completely stupid.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, he's... As soon as these things come out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is really happening? Like, did he really do this?
I guess he did.
And it's gotten so bad that many people have left. Like, there was this woman named Lindsay Ellis, who was the Nostalgia Chick. She left after mistreatment. Now she's doing pretty well for herself. She's got her own YouTube channel that has like 600,000 subscribers. And she's working with PBS. So it worked out for her, but many other people aren't really doing all that well.
Yeah.
At least as well as she is, but yeah. I highly recommend looking into Lindsay Ellis, looking at her stuff. Anyway.
Definitely.
That's not even the reason why I bring this up. The Nostalgia Critic.
What is the reason then?
The Nostalgia Critic recently put out this big, huge review of Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Okay.
And it's the movie, not the album.
Yeah, good thing to clarify that.
Yes.
For sure.
Even though, like, I guess I haven't watched Pink Floyd's The Wall, but I'm pretty sure that the movie came out first. Or maybe the album came out first and then they made a movie based around the album, but I'm pretty sure I think the movie came out first and then the album came out later. It was like a soundtrack or something. Clarify below in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that happened.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure. Don't quote me on that. But anyway.
Interesting.
So, this review pretty much accumulates what the Nostalgia Critic has become and his
Right.
terrible, horrible reviews and his terrible, horrible ego. Okay? Like, back in 2012, he brought in some actors and actresses to work on his
Yeah.
reviews as well, right? And that was fine, okay? I'll agree there. That was perfectly fine. But then his content started to take a change. It started to turn. Like, he used to have this cap. Like, he wouldn't review movies outside of, like, 2000.
Yeah.
But he started reviewing movies after 2000.
Oh no.
And which some movies were okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of the movies that he reviewed are not quite... I don't know why he's reviewing them. Like, he reviewed Kangaroo Jack.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
I remember that movie too, but I don't think it's nostalgic yet. Like,
Huh.
he's just reviewing like all these bullcrap movies. Like, he reviewed Deadpool 2.
No, that's a little too new.
Yeah, that's too new. Granted, it's based on a comic,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand why he would review that this early, you know? Like,
Yeah.
he reviewed, like, The Force Awakens through The Last Jedi already, and it was, like, these big, huge, like, productions where the actors and actresses would play the roles, which I don't really get why. I mean, I do get why, to get the views, but it's not nostalgic yet. I mean, he does this other thing where it's like Doug Reviews, where it's just him talking and about movies and reviewing them. Why don't you just do that there? Why do you have to have it on the Nostalgia Critic? That's whatever. Anyway, this is one of those big, huge productions.
Yeah.
And he doesn't review the movie. He just, like, most of the time he just doesn't review the movie. It's just like parodying the Pink Floyd's The Wall, the movie. And it's not... No, there's no purpose to the movie.
Yeah.
There's no purpose. No, not the movie. My apologies. There's no review. There's no purpose to the review.
Oh, okay. I was getting confused.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
purpose to the review. It's just like it's just the Nostalgia Critic talking about his points of view. Like, he's talking
Oh,
about
really?
how Twitter sucks. He talks about how social media is terrible, how all the comments and things are terrible.
Oh,
And
wow.
then there's like these, it's terribly edited, it's like terribly lit, like all the ideas are mostly stupid. There's like this one point that's like, he has like these Nazi propaganda stuff, and he has like this like lines drawn on his face, and the lines are smeared. Like, if you draw a marker on yourself and like wipe it off, there's smears, right? He would smear it, and he left it in. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Huh.
Oh my gosh! And he doesn't review it. He even got one of the main singers from, the band, Pink Floyd, I guess, if it's the name, right?
Yeah, that's the band name.
Yeah, the band name. So he got one of the main singers, right, who kind of made the movie almost. And he doesn't do anything. He just sits in a chair watching the critic on the TV, and that's it. He doesn't do anything. And he also has his son acting out his younger version of him, and he barely does anything either. It's so bizarre. And then at the very end, he actually reviews the movie, like in 2 sentences. He thought it was contrived and all that, but overall it was a pretty good movie. What?
After all the criticism, overall, this is a pretty good movie.
Yes. Like, there was 40 minutes of content, and he summed up the entire review. The actual reviewing part was like 2 sentences. And that's it.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. And that singer didn't even sing a song from Pink Floyd, right? He only sung SpongeBob SquarePants theme song.
As it SpongeBob SquarePants.
I see that you sounded like a robot there for a second.
Let me turn the gain down.
Oh my gosh.
It's a good quality mic, you know?
Yeah, except when you blow it out, don't ruin your things.
Huh.
Oh boy. Anyway, so he doesn't even sing a Pink Floyd song. He sings SpongeBob SquarePants theme song.
Oh wow.
It's atrocious. It's just the accumulation of everything that's wrong with the Nostalgia Critic, with Doug Walker, with Channel Awesome, with everything.
So, let me get this straight. Doug Walker hires the singer from Pink Floyd to come out and be like, "We don't need no SpongeBob SquarePants."
No, he doesn't even do that. He actually sings the SpongeBob SquarePants song, like "Who Lives in a Pineapple Under the Sea," and that's all he sings.
Under the sea, SpongeBob SquarePants.
That's all he sings.
Then that
is so atrocious. It's an abomination.
Wow.
It also the cherry, like the fudge and the cherry on top of the horrible crap sundae.
Yeah.
Is the fact that not only like the entire thing is in music, like they're ripping off the Wall soundtrack or the Wall album, right? All the songs are pretty much parodies of The Wall.
I hate to hear the Brick in the Wall song then.
Yes,
that pissed me off because that's an American, well, a British classic.
Yeah, they're all terrible, and they're all terrible, and most of the time I can't even understand a word he's saying, like in the songs, because the dubbing is terrible.
Huh.
The dubbing and the audio is atrocious. And this is a big, huge production. They've got 1 million subscribers. I'm pretty sure they have enough money to have good quality audio and mics, unlike us, where we have to scrape pennies just to get good mics. So, there you go.
Like me.
And me. Anyway, so this video is atrocious. And on top of all that, his ads, like now he has ads, which, okay, fine, if you're going to have money in order to make these things, that's okay, but at first I thought, okay, his ads are kind of boring, but then he started like having a script and a narrative in his ads, and I was thought, okay, well, now they're kind of funny. In fact, the worst part about it was, like, I thought some ads were better than his actual content.
Now that's sad.
It is.
That is so sad. Oh my god.
But there's this ad for honey, like this ad for like the honey, like thing.
The honey app, yeah.
Yeah.
With the no offense, but the ad on YouTube that has the guy who looks like he's gay. Like, then I found honey. Yeah, that guy. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Take my word for it.
Yeah, I guess. Like, honey is all over the web, so, and all over YouTube, and there's a lot of people who are, like, sponsored by them, and actually, it's a pretty good, like, thing. I actually have it, but
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
this ad is just from the rest of the. I guess it's because it was in a bad mood. I guess maybe that's fueling it because of the stupid review, but
Could have been.
it was just so bad. I skipped it because after that I watched it and it was like so annoying. It was so annoying.
Was it?
At least I could understand what he was saying, but
Yeah.
holy crap, it was. And the penultimate thing that he did
Yeah.
with this review,
Right.
he made an actual album of this thing, and he expects people to go out and buy this thing.
To buy this parody album of Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yes, with other
Oh,
tracks that are not included in the review.
Oh.
And it is just atrocious. Like,
I mean, I'd love to hear his take on, another brick in the wall just for fun, but
maybe, but I don't want to buy this thing. This thing is
like
terrible.
If it's like a YouTube music video parody, sure, it's all in good fun, but I don't know if it's worth spending money on.
No, it's not. And the worst part about it is that there's this guy named Rob Scallion who
Yeah.
wrote all the songs, and I like this guy. This guy seems pretty good. He made a guitar out of a Nintendo Entertainment System, and
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway, he seems like a good guy. Why he
Yeah.
has to go through this muck of Nostalgia Critic and make terribly written and terribly produced songs for this review? I don't know what happened. I'm
Probably
pretty sure Doug
for the
edited
money.
this.
Oh, more than likely.
I mean, yeah, he is in it for the money. I mean, he was in Gem and the Holograms movie.
Yeah.
He was in the Gem and the Holograms movie, which
Uh-huh.
was abysmal, but I mean, he did get paid for it, so whatever. But anyway,
Yeah. I think
this review is just utterly atrocious. It
yes.
after that, and the funniest thing about it is that it has more down likes than it does likes, which is good because at least most people.
Yeah, that is good. I may go down like it just because, and I'll end my thoughts on this whole topic with this, okay? I didn't get this on purpose, but I ended up getting the same type of guitar that the Pink Floyd guitarist has. Black on black Fender Stratocaster, and learning that was his guitar after I bought it kind of made it even more special to me and makes me appreciate it more. But man, this guy's dissing Pink Floyd in a way
Yes.
with their lead singer present for the dissing, and that is some serious BS. Oh my god,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, with that, and the fact that he did all this bull crap
Yeah,
to these good, hardworking people that
Yeah.
just want their content to be heard, and they want
Right.
to, make it big in YouTube like everyone else.
totally. I mean, I totally get that.
Yeah, to be a total ass
Yeah.
to them is just utterly atrocious. I have lost so much respect for
Me
this
too.
guy.
Me too.
I mean, I like. At least James Rolfe is nice. I mean, holy crap. If he did some bad stuff behind the scenes, I would be utterly surprised.
If the ABGN went like that, I would be really upset with him because I like his content a lot.
I like his content now too, especially since he's gone into more movie stuff. Like he has his rental
Yeah.
reviews.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is just him and his friends talking. And that is better than the Nostalgia Critics reviews that
That's
cost
sad.
so much money.
That's sad.
Oh my gosh.
Then when the nerd
Ah.
gets in his nerd mode and really gets out his pro quality gear, and
Yes.
Bugs Bunny comes out and gets kicked in the face or whatever,
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's making better nostalgic movie reviews than the actual nostalgic movie critic.
That's hilarious. The video game reviewer is making better movie reviews than the nostalgia critic.
Who's been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah, he has. You're right.
Holy crap. It's
Wow.
a fall of a titan, honestly.
I think you're right.
I don't think I can watch any of his reviews anymore. It just makes me so mad. After this review,
Okay.
I'm just so atrociously mad at him. Anyway, I gotta calm down with
Yes,
the
I
news
think it's
with the-
time to move on to the next part.
Yeah, the fact that Spider-Man's back in the MCU. Oh! Yes!
Blast off.
Spider-Man is back in the MCU. Thank heavenly God.
Yes, Spider-Man is back.
That was a roller coaster. Anyway, I won't go into full detail
Yeah,
as much as I would have with the Nostalgia Critic, but
okay. That's
just
good.
do a quick summary. Disney botched the renegotiations for Spider-Man. They wanted
did.
50% of the cut
Yeah.
of the box office and half of the creative control of them.
hmm
To which Sony was like, hell no, and good reason, because
Yeah.
that if they did say yes, then CEOs would get fired. So
Probably.
Disney botched that renegotiations, and Spider-Man was out of the MCU for a while. But
Yeah.
Sony and Disney came back, finally, renegotiated a new thing where we get one more Tom Holland Spider-Man film
Yeah.
and one more appearance of Spider-Man in an MCU movie. After
Right.
that, I'm pretty sure it's going to be it. This is it of the MCU Spider-Man. Which, honestly, if Spider-Man's going to be out of the MCU, I'm glad they're going to go out with an actual ending instead of teasing us with J. Jonah Jameson back, J.K. Simmons.
Oh yeah, I remember
Back
that.
as
That
J.
was
Jonah
funny.
Jameson. I was like, oh my gosh, yes.
I remember that in Homecoming. That was
No,
really
Far
funny.
From
No,
Home.
No. Yeah. My bad. Far
Yes.
from home.
How dare
Sorry.
you. How
Sorry, folks.
How dare you? Oh my gosh. Anyway, so after teasing him coming back, and after outing Spider-Man's secret identity out to the public,
Yeah.
they weren't going to do anything with that. What the hell? But now they got him back for 2 more movies.
Amen.
After this is probably going to be it. But
All
I'm
right.
glad it's going to go out with an actual ending and not. Oh, he's going to fight Venom now for some reason, even though we had no prior things no prior storyline setting up for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that this is happening. I'm glad he's going to get
Me
an actual
too.
ending.
Me too. And just a side note, speaking of Venom, do you ever see that YouTube commercial for the Venom series? You know what I'm talking about? Where he's in the Chinese lady's what is it? Convenience store, yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, it's not a cartoon series. It's
No. I said TV series.
It's not a TV series either. It's
Or
in
no,
the movie.
it's. Why does it say it's a series on the commercial then?
I don't know. Was it live action?
Yes,
It was in the movie.
that's what I thought.
Did he
That's
say
what I thought.
Did he say a turd in the wind?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the movie.
this headless, faceless thing, like a turd in the wind. In the wind. On second thought.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a parasite. Night, Mrs. Chin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so, like, I'm not gonna go over Venom quite that much. I'm just gonna say this. It's so hilariously bad, but it's so good you can't look away. It's just hilarious. I love.
Yeah.
I like Venom. There's some
It
people
looks like it'd be good. I don't know why it'd get hated on. I thought that was hilarious.
yeah, I mean, there's some things that are like filmmaking standpoint, it's
Oh.
so bad,
Oh wow.
but it's just so hilarious in some points. Like Venom like went into like Tom Hardy's girlfriend at one point, and they were like making out.
Poor Bane.
Yeah, it was just so weird. Venom was
Bane
like,
showed up. Oh,
Venom was like, in my world, I too am a loser. But
what?
like the whole thing is about Tom Hardy being a loser.
God.
But there's one point where like Venom was like, in my world, I too am a loser.
Huh.
Some things were just so atrocious in that movie that it just got comical. It was so hilariously bad. It had so much potential, but honestly,
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm glad they're making another one to with Andy Serkis as the director,
Yeah.
and they got an award-winning cinematographer, so it's gonna look good. Thank
There
God.
we go. There we go. Anyway,
Spider-Man's back in the MCU. We can all breathe again, ladies and gentlemen.
yes.
Everything's okay. Everything's okay. The world is this exact same, except Spider-Man is indeed back in the MCU. Thank
And now
Heavenly God.
I will end this part of the podcast with one more announcement. I acquired a first edition copy of Batman Dark Knight Returns.
That I want.
I found it at a Second and Charles store in Buford, Georgia. I was specifically going to find that book, not necessarily looking for the first print, but
If it's
Sure
not the
enough-
I looked
sure
at
enough, there it was.
Yeah, I looked at it too, folks, and
Yeah.
if it's not the first print, it is a very early print.
Yes, it's definitely in a late 80s, mid 80s, whenever it came
yeah.
out. Late 80s, yeah.
Yeah, I think it came out during that time. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it's thicker
Yeah.
than the copy I got. Maybe it's because, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know. I guess it's because they redid some stuff like digitally,
Yeah.
I guess. But this one was like the actual like print of it. This one
Uh-huh.
is thicker. I know that, but
Okay.
it's a good find, son. I
Thank
am
you.
envious of you. Almost as
I'd be-
envious of that you are that I have a Super Mario 64 in the box.
Yeah. That envy died down though when I got a complete in-box copy of Mario Kart 64, so I guess that evens it out.
Not really. Now I'm more
Oh.
envious of you because you have the Dark Knight Returns original
And Mario
copy.
Kart 64
And Mario Kart 64
in the box.
in the box. My gosh.
Wow.
Don't worry. One day, I will have those things, and when I do,
And
I will
I have
laugh
it-
my way all the way to the bank.
you laugh your way all the way to the bank when you have a Gibson guitar, then we'll talk.
I mean, I don't care about guitars, so
We all know that. Oh, we all know that.
no, I care about like I don't care about electric guitars. I like the
Bruh.
Yeah, I
Mother
like
of God, Bobby?
I like acoustic guitars simply
Acoustic.
because you can play them without electricity. Like when
That
the
is a nice thing. You can just pick them up and play them.
when the apocalypse
cool.
happens, okay, my guitar will still work while yours won't.
I mean, I can play it, but it's
just
not
doesn't
going to
sound
sound
good.
right.
Yeah. Also, mine is electric as well, so not only can I plug it in, but when the apocalypse happens and electricity is wiped out throughout the world, I will still be able to play mine. It will just be acoustic and not electric.
Yeah,
My
fair
guitar,
enough.
the Linden guitar, it's
The Fender.
great. The Fender, it's a great model.
A good value for the money. It's a good guitar.
Yeah.
I played it.
Great model, good value, great guitar. I'm not gonna play it over the podcast though.
Well, we all know.
Yeah, we all know.
As a matter of fact, I think you played it in a different episode.
I probably did. I don't even remember.
I'm fairly certain we did. Yeah, it was the one we did at the beach, and you're like, "Oh, I said, hey
Oh,
now,
the
hey
fir-
now."
Oh,
Yeah.
it was I think it was the first one.
It might have been, yeah.
It's been so long. I can't.
Yeah,
even
it's
remember.
been several months now.
Yeah, I can't even keep a proper schedule of the podcast, guys.
It's hard.
apologize.
It is.
Whatever. I'll get better later in life. Anyway,
So,
enough
say that
with-
wraps that up.
Yeah, wraps up the nostalgia critic and his stupidness. Wraps up the
Thank God.
Spider-Man and his awesomeness. Threw a
And
little guitar
the
in
rotary
there. Threw a
phone.
little Dark Knight Returns in there. So there you go.
the rotary phone.
And the rotary phone. And anything
Yes.
else that the Hendra was talking about that I forgot about. And now we are going on to our next segment, the best and worst of something. For me, it was novels.
And for me, it's the best and worst AC/DC albums.
Yeah, there you go. So, let's see, who is going to go first? Son,
All right.
you wanna go first, son?
I think I will, Daddy.
All right,
Said
so
Bobby.
I think I started out first last time, so you get to
I
go,
believe you did.
get to go this time.
All right. So,
Give us the history of AC/DC in a nutshell.
okay. Unlike the rant about the critic, I'll keep this a bit more abbreviated.
A 40-minute review of the Nostalgia Critic.
Oh my god, that was a long one. But anyway,
That is a the apology from the critic for every minute wasted on that stupid review. Anyway, continue.
okay. So AC/DC is one of the most timeless, classic rock and roll bands of all time. If you haven't heard of them, then you're living under a rock. And if you have heard of them, then thankfully you're not under the rock. So
They are a great rock band, and they
They
are
are.
an 80s staple, I would think, right? And a 70s staple.
I think more so 70s and some of the early 80s was probably their prime. And then 1990. Specifically that year. Those were their biggest years.
It was specifically 1990, and then
Yes.
they just went off the rail again.
Nah. They've always been good. They've just had some ups and downs.
I guess they had
So-
it down in 1990, after 1990, and never came back.
They're kind of coming back a little bit,
Well, good.
even though they're very old.
Anyway, I apologize. Continue with your
Nope,
your talking.
So, the band started out in the early 1970s, founded by Scottish brothers Malcolm and Angus Young, who immigrated to Australia, where they formed their band AC/DC with,
So it was
a bass
formed in
player.
Australia.
yes,
Oh, right.
they're not Australian though.
Yeah, I thought they were
Contrary to
American.
contrary to popular belief, people say, "Oh yeah, they're Australian." They were formed in Australia, but they're not from Australia themselves. As a matter of fact, over the history of the band, they've only had one member that was actually Australian, and that was the drummer. So, fun fact there. So they got a. Hold on, let me see what this guy's name is.
All right then, as we can hear your typing on the keyboard, I'm gonna say AC/DC. I'm not really like huge AC/DC fan, but I am very enthralled by some of their music.
Okay, I got it.
There we go.
His name is Larry Von Kreit. I could not remember his name.
Sounds like a German.
And then they
German
had
Australian.
and the singer was Dave Evans, and the bass player there, he only played live, it looks like. And then Dave Evans recorded the song Can I Sit Next to You Girl? That's hard to say. First song they ever did. It's pretty good. Not the best one they've ever done. But the guys, apparently he was like blowing kisses to the audience or something. And, you know, Angus and Malcolm Young, the guitarists, were kind of like, no thanks. I'll pass. And so they had Colin Burgess on the drums for that song, and then Colin, Larry, and Dave, they left, and we got Rob Bailey on the bass guitar. That was the guy I was actually trying to think of. And Peter Clack on the drums for their first album, High Voltage, which features TNT. Watch me explode! Dud.
Let's not get
Anyway,
let's not get like copyrighted. Or...
Hey, just be glad I didn't get my guitar that time.
Yes.
So, the singer from then up until his tragic death in 1980 was the almighty Bon Scott. Also a Scottish immigrant in Australia, but not from the same family. So, imagine that. And then, after the success of their first album, they hired Phil Rudd, who was probably their most famous drummer. And he would still be with them, but he had some legal issues with like drug possession or something. I don't know. He's a little crazy, but great drummer. And, you know, starting from the TNT album, which was only in Australia, and just so we're clear, High Voltage didn't include TNT originally. When it was first released in the US, the TNT song was on the High Voltage album. So Phil Rudd performed on that song only, I guess. So kind of complicated. Anyway, then with Phil Rudd on the drums, Bon Scott singing, they had Mark Evans on the bass from 75 to 77, which includes the Let There Be Rock album. And that's a decent album. Not bad at all. Not my favorite, but not the worst. Then that would also include Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Another good one. So, get to 77. We have the bass player Cliff Williams, who is their current bassist. And he is, you know, although his role is really subtle and AC/DC isn't really a bass guitar heavy band, you know, he's good at what he does. If he wasn't in there, it wouldn't be the same. Let's put it that way. So he starred in 77 on the Power Ridge album, which we will come back to later in this episode. And he's just all the way up to today. So we got Power Ridge album, then we get Highway to Hell, which is one of their most famous ones. And after that, Bon Scott died because he suffered from asphyxiation after some heavy drinking. And they were about to record the Back in Black album, but then he died. So they almost quit right before making their like big break.
Ultimates.
I know,
I
like
guess.
their quintessential AC/DC album. So enter Brian Johnson, who used to be the vocalist for a band called Geordie. And so Brian joins them. They're a little unsure how he's gonna sound for Back in Black, but I mean, listen to the album, and I think we can all agree it's pretty solid. You know, he's unlike Bon Scott. Brian Johnson kind of gives it more of like an epic, like powerful dynamic that Bon Scott kind of gave it more of an upbeat kind of jumpy party vibe, where Brian Johnson kind of brings down the house with the power. Let's put it that way. And he's pretty much been with the band ever since then. He did suffer some sort of hearing problem, which was not actually related to his AC/DC career, but from car racing, which is another thing I like, so it makes the band even better.
Yes.
So,
Alright, son.
we're getting close to the end.
Okay.
Fast forward to the mid-'80s. The drummer has to leave because of legal problems. We get so now we fast forward to the mid-'80s, and Phil Rudd gets kicked out. They replaced him with Simon Wright for a few albums. Then they replace Simon with Chris Slade, who was the drummer for Thunderstruck, and I'm sure most of you know that song by now. It's been in a lot of movies and, you know, at football games, and, you know, it's hype. If there was ever a hype AC/DC song, that would be the one. It's very hype. That's the word for that one. And, you know, after that, in 1990, they had one more decent album, which was Ball Breaker. It never had the critical acclaim of some of the others, but it was still pretty good. They had an album in the early 2000s I cannot remember the name of for some reason. Stiff Upper Lip, that was it. Okay. So then get to the early 2010s. Rhythm guitarist and founder Malcolm Young has dementia, and he passed away a few years later. He's no longer with us, sadly. May he rest in peace. He was the man. His nephew has taken his place, and this is the best part. So when Brian Johnson couldn't sing anymore for his hearing issues, Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses filled in, which is a interesting choice, but I guess it works. It's kind of interesting. And the rumor has it that they're actually working on another studio album now with Brian Johnson back in, and hopefully we'll see that coming soon.
You know,
and that is AC/DC for you.
You know what's interesting for me is that this, like, bands like AC/DC,
Yeah.
like, get and replace artists and musical artists, like, all the time, which is kind of the reason why they're still around today, which I kind of surprised by. I guess it's because, you know, it's kind of like the Beatles effect, I guess, where whenever you think of the Beatles, you think of those four guys, and when they split up, the band died. So it's kind of like that, where I thought, like, you know,
Almost.
yeah, I mean, I thought they were just like these singers, and then that's it. But no, there's like more and more. They just keep on replacing and like placing and replacing.
I think, you know, the main AC/DC lineup that people think of is, you know, Angus Young, Malcolm Young, Phil Rudd, and, you know, either Bon Scott or Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
That's AC/DC to me, is them.
Alright then, son, what is your favorite AC/DC album?
Back in Black! I hit the sack!
Oh man, you picked mine.
Ha.
You
That.
think-
Oh my god, I love it so much.
I mean, it is the quintessential album, I guess, of AC/DC. Why is it your favorite?
Well, man, it's hard to sum that all up. Well, for starters, when I first started playing guitar, the Back in Black song was kind of what encouraged me to really take it serious. It wasn't the song that got me interested in it, but it was definitely the one that kind of got me like, I really want to pursue this for real. And I did, and it's been fun. Aside from that, the guitar tone is just phenomenal for both the rhythm and lead. It's balanced so perfectly, and it's just spot on. The vocals, they fit in well. The bass adds that subtle bottom end, and the drums are just really powerful and hard hitting. And it's
Is
one of
this
those
the song,
things that,
or is it
yeah,
this is the album?
song. And well, really for the whole album, it's the same. You know, like it's just put together so well, and it's natural. Like it feels like it's really natural. Like it came together, and they as a band just naturally collaborated like that together for this album, and it just worked, and it worked really well. And it was so good that it was their biggest hit. Ironically, considering that their critically acclaimed vocalist Bon Scott had just died, and they took a chance with the new guy Brian Johnson, and sure enough, it worked. And now you hear Back in Black in the MCU and other movies, and
In fact, the first thing that you hear from the first MCU movie, Iron Man, is Back in Black.
it is.
The first audio thing in the entire movie is Back in Black.
It is. And they're in that military vehicle, you're right.
The military Hummer, as I like to call it.
Yeah. You know, and it's got other good songs like Shoot to Thrill, Aim to Kill, you know, Too Many Women and Too Many Pills, so on and so forth. You know, another good song is You Shook Me All Night Long, What Do You Do for Money, Honey, and pretty much everything on the album. So,
Yeah.
that's definitely my favorite.
I gotta say, you kind of took mine.
Wow.
Back in Black is the quintessential AC/DC album, I guess. It's the quintessential AC/DC song, also. Which,
It
by the
is.
way, isn't... I guess it wasn't like the first song on the album either. It's like the first song on the side 2 of the record, which is weird.
I'm
But-
surprised you actually knew that, but
I mean,
yeah.
I looked it up on Wikipedia, so yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah.
I'm trying to be
it's
knowledgeable on this. I mean,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's track number 6, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anywho,
And
anything more you want to say about Back
Yeah.
in Black?
final note, I'm gonna try to post a guitar cover of the song that's gonna sound extremely accurate really soon.
Is this
And-
on It's Entertainment Bro?
Not yet, but it'll
Ah.
be coming soon.
Okay. Well, boneless. I gotta say, Back in Black is a very, very great album. I
Yeah,
gotta say, if you didn't pick it, I would probably pick it.
understandable.
I mean, if you know, all things considered,
Yeah.
I'd probably pick it as well. Also, just because there's some great songs like Rock and Roll Ain't No Noise Pollution and You Shook
Yeah.
Me All Night Long and Shake a Leg and a bunch of other
Shake,
songs.
shake a leg.
Also, let me just say this.
I love that one.
I'm not a huge music critic.
Yeah,
But I'll just say, like, the beats and the percussions of the Back in Black song is just simply iconic.
I know.
It's just
It's really powerful. you know?
yes, absolutely. I really do enjoy that album. Also, the artwork for that thing is just the logo of AC/DC, and
It's
just
it's black.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you need.
And they
It's just
did that.
ingenious.
They actually did that as a tribute to Bon Scott.
Okay,
That's
well,
why.
good. Yeah,
It has a meaning.
honestly kind of this whole story of Back in Black and like their like that guy who died
Yeah.
reminds me of See You Again. You remember that song from
Yeah.
Furious 7?
Actually, that's a great comparison.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an entire album dedicated to him, but it's very well.
Yeah.
It's like very similar and very well done. I guess when you bring out sorrow in people, you can get some gold.
Yeah.
I guess,
See-
which I don't support, but at the same time, I mean, you do get gold out of it. So there you go.
I know Hell's Bells is definitely a tribute to
It's a tribute
And-
to what?
Hell's Bells is definitely a tribute to Bon Scott, and the Back in Black song is too. That one's more about his spirit kind of living on forever.
Yeah.
If you read what the lyrics say, you can kind of pick up on that.
Hell's Bells is probably like the like after Back in Black is probably one of the greatest songs on the album, and also like
Yeah.
there's this very funny note here. It's actually like Maximum Overdrive,
Yeah,
that movie that was like directed by Stephen King.
right.
That like it's included in the album for Maximum Overdrive soundtrack, which AC/DC contributed very heavily toward.
I gotta watch that now.
I mean, it's hilarious, but it's like it's taking itself so seriously, but it's hilarious. It's just great. It's wonderful. It's Stephen
Yeah.
King.
Yeah.
It's just the full Stephen King package.
Wow.
I guess.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
wonderful. Anyway,
Awesome.
yeah. So back to AC/DC. So
Yes.
AC/DC, I'm not a complete huge fan of, but I am
Not
a big
fanboy status.
No, not
but a
fanboy
fan.
status, but just a regular fan. I know of
Yeah.
their great works like Back in Black and Hell's Bells and like Got You by the Balls. That's hilarious. all that stuff.
I know you had to have looked that one up.
I mean,
Come on. You definitely looked that one up.
No, I didn't actually, but
You didn't?
No.
Okay.
I got it in my. I got like this huge Spotify playlist where I just add all the music I like.
Oh, you put that one in your playlist?
I put like all the AC/DC things in my playlist, and
Huh.
I remember seeing "Got You by the Balls" and just laughing a little bit.
She got you by the ball! Got you real good! Something like that.
So my favorite album, besides Back in Black, which I will detain, it is like their best work. I think they're either close to or equal to Back in Black
Yeah.
is the album from 1990, and that is The Razor's Edge.
Ah, good choice.
This is like, I guess it's, I don't know if it's underrated or not, but I think this,
No,
I think-
it's not.
I mean, I don't know why it's so detached from like their heyday, but this thing is like jam-packed with all the essentials, in my opinion at least.
I don't really know. It's weird how it's like 10 years after Back in Black came out. Then they came out with this after having a bunch of other albums with mixed success.
I will tell you though, the album cover is really 1990s or
It is.
1989-esque. It's
Yeah,
Just
it has
what-
that vibe.
It's hilarious. Anyway,
It does.
It's got some of my favorite songs on there. My favorite song of all time, probably from AC/DC, is Back in Black. But the second one is Thunderstruck. I
Yes.
love that song.
I do too.
So much.
I do too. Man, I could.
And they know that this song is like one of their best works on this album, so they have it first. They have it front and center for you.
Not number 6 this time.
Not number 6. This one is number 1.
Number 1. Yep.
Okay, it's opening you up real big after all the mediocre stuff back in the late 80s. This thing pops in, is like, oh my gosh,
Let's get
Heck.
some Starbucks.
let's get some Starbucks. Heck yes.
Yeah.
Also, it's got the it's got their Christmas song in there.
Oh my God, that
Mistress for Christmas.
Allow me. This is how
I
it
want
opens.
a mistress for Christmas.
It opens like this. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Oh my god.
Then he says something. How I'd like a mistress, or I forget what comes next.
Mistress for Christmas.
Mistress for Christmas. It's something like that.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean,
I lost it when he said jingle bells at the beginning. That
it's-
I almost cried. It
it's
was so funny.
It's so funny. I mean, not only that, but the songs. I mean, it's funny because you don't expect a Christmas song from AC/DC, but they got a Christmas song. And, I mean,
Okay.
it's a rated R Christmas song, but, I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it's pretty okay, I would
So-
say.
Here's how it goes in the beginning. I have to share this.
Of course.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. I just can't wait till Christmas time, when I can rope you in the hay.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
What the hell?
I mean, it's so hilarious, and it's like actually okay. It's not.
It's an okay song, yeah.
It's an okay song. It's not the best Christmas song by any means, but it's pretty good. I mean, if AC/DC was going to make a Christmas song, this is the type of song that I would think would like pop into their album.
Yes.
So, also Got You by the Balls, that's in there too.
What's the other one?
The
Big
Razor's
Gun-
Edge,
oh,
of course.
What is it?
You got the Razor's Edge, of
Fire,
course.
fire your guns. Fire your guns.
Fire Your
That's a good
Guns. Money Talks.
one. Money Talks is really good.
Yes.
That one's very hard to play on the guitar. As is Thunderstruck, for that matter. Both of those are really hard to play.
Yeah, I mean, just the guitar aspect of it is just
Yeah.
gold. It's
Like-
just gold. Like Angus Young, who was the lead guitar on this thing, is just simply wonderful. He kind of outdid himself. He's like this. I guess it was like the final hurrah for like A++ quality AC/DC. Because honestly, after that, I don't know. I just never really got into AC/DC after this album. This is like their
They
grand.
in
like-
recent times they have had an album that I think had some really good stuff on it, but aside from that, yeah, it's kind of been hit or miss.
Yeah, and also Brian Johnson was the lead vocals on this album. He did a very
As he had been since 1980.
yeah, and he did a very good job. I don't know. Again, don't know what happened. I don't know who like got replaced for this album.
The drummer.
The drummer? Oh, well, that's maybe why. They got new blood, so they were like, oh, okay, let's do this. Chris Slade, who
Is bald.
is bald, and he got he was the drums and percussion things. So
Yes.
he did a pretty good job too. Like the percussion aspect of Thunderstruck is iconic, actually. Like
Yeah.
if you read the lyrics to Thunderstruck,
There aren't
Man.
many.
there aren't many. Let me just. Oh wait, it's not on Wikipedia. Well, I apologize. Also, I guess what's clear is like there's not a lot of lyrics, granted, but the lyrics themselves are just simply wonderful. And the
Yeah.
fact that they made a song so memorable in 1990, way past their prime, but
Oh yeah.
like in 1990, like with little words as possible, when
Yeah.
in the past they used a lot of vocals and a lot of lyrics at the time.
Not as many as you think, but still less than in Thunderstruck.
Yeah. I mean, no, less than like other works like Back in Black, I guess. Or
Yeah.
like they didn't use a whole lot of words, but the song beats and the song itself is just simply wonderful. And like the same is true for most of the songs on this album. Otherwise, it's just Mistress for Christmas, which is hilarious,
Yes, it is.
or Got You by the Balls, which is also hilarious.
Got you real good.
I mean, yeah. So that's my favorite album. I think, honestly, it's underrated. I think this should be in the patriarch of AC/DC albums like Back in Black. As good as Back in Black. This thing should be as good as Back in Black. And, well,
It's, to me, and it was one of their best, but I think overall the songs on the Back in Black album are better overall to me. Razor's Edge isn't bad though. It's
mean-
definitely top 5 easily.
I mean, yeah, honestly, this is either top 2 or tied for number 1 for me with Back in Black. I mean, Back in Black is a great album with great songs. However, none of them, like, truly make me laugh in its stupidity. Or, no, in my stupidity, because, I'm kind of a young kid at heart, and I kind of laugh whenever people say balls. So, Got You by the Balls, and that the fact that there's a Christmas song on this album, Mistress for Christmas by AC/DC. I mean, what more can you want from an album? I mean, holy crap, this has got everything I want in an album.
You ought to listen to the song Ball Breaker. That one's pretty funny too.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they've done some good stuff too. However, overall, with the technical aspect, the music score, and the lyrics to all these songs, it's my favorite. It's one of my favorites, if not my most favorites, out of the whole AC/DC library. And on top of all that, the review scores are actually pretty surprising. AllMusic gave it 3 stars out of 5. Entertainment Weekly gave it an A-. Rolling Stone gave it 2 out of 5 stars. And I'm
Alright,
like,
that's horse trash.
it is. Like, what the heck? What is up, Rolling Stone? This is a very... See, that's one of the reasons why I say this is underrated, because Rolling Stone gave it 2 out of 5 stars.
Well,
Stupid.
I don't think that mattered, did it?
No, I don't think it mattered either. I love this album, and anyway.
So,
That's it
yeah,
for my
Razor's Edge is good.
Yeah, that's it for my AC/DC favorites album list.
Alright, cool.
Now on to albums. No, on to novels. My apologies.
Best and worst novels.
Yes, I was still on the album train.
Ah, okay.
Alright, so best and worst novels. This can go from anything from American novels to British novels to German novels. Any book written from ancient Greece to today, honestly, in any part of the world. I think that includes the first ever novel or story, in my opinion, written story called The Iliad. I technically think that's a novel, so there you go.
Alright.
Technically, that is the first written story. It's called The Iliad.
Yeah,
so
I suppose it is.
there you go. Anyway. Novels, for me, are pretty fascinating, I would say, because novels are, like... First of all, reading is good. It's a good thing for you.
It is.
It allows you to use your imagination. It allows you to explore things that aren't, like, spelled out for you, like in movies. Although I do enjoy movies more than books, but
Yeah.
I do enjoy a good book every once in a while.
Right.
And I've read quite a lot of books, and I'm going to share them with you today. In fact, I want to make so bad a review show where, like a book club, where we review books. I just need to find the right tone for it. I just don't know what it is. Maybe get some more people in here who read well. So I know you don't read quite that well.
I was gonna say I would not be a good candidate for that one.
No, I don't know.
Unfortunately,
I need to find some other good friends that can read books well. I don't know.
Okay.
I won't pay them, so don't think I'll pay you if you want to be part of this book club. Anyway.
Haha! In your face.
Yeah, I ain't paying for that. Anyway.
So what's your favorite novel of all time, Chief?
Well, Chief, there's been a lot, let me tell you. I read, I remember reading The Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah.
A book by John Steinbeck. It was a long one.
It was. I didn't have to read that though.
It was a basis for the one of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion, called The Grapes of Wrath. The movie.
I wonder why.
The 1940.
Wonder why.
1942. It's a fantastic movie.
So also it's not. Wait. So it's not The Grapes of Wrath then. It's The Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah.
If it's from the 40s.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a really great book. I read it all the way. I read 2 chapters in I don't know. It's back when I was slow at reading. I had to read it for school. I read it in the first two chapters in the first 2 months of summer, and then one of the days before I had to go back, I read the entire thing in one night.
Oh wow.
Which I gotta say wasn't too hard because I was fully grasped with the story. It was really well done. This is my favorite book though because of the ending. The ending is really weird. It's so weird. It's about this. It's this guy who was starving.
Yeah.
And with this kid and this, the main character's sister, because the main character left already.
Right.
Moved on to other things because he killed a guy.
Yeah.
And then this woman who lost her baby, fed the kid and the dad her breast milk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then it just ends. And I'm like, what the hell was that?
Oh my god.
It means something. I don't remember what it means, but wow. Okay. Also, the Great Gatsby. I love this book. I know there are a lot of people that
I did too. Why not? That was one of the best books I read by force in high school.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great book. It's a literary classic for some reason. And
a good reason.
Yeah, the good reason. And I know a lot of people that don't like this book, probably because it has too much imagery and there's a lot of poetic use of language and all that. There's other reasons, but I really enjoy this book.
I like the little subtleties, the technical subtleties like that. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yes. Also, it's short. If you can make a book that leaves a everlasting impact in a very short, thin book, and it's considered by many people as a literary classic, you are a master of your craft.
That's the best kind of book, because I don't like reading things that are that big.
Yeah.
I get bored.
Yeah. Also, it helps out with it helps out with people who don't like to read, because they might be intrigued of how short it is, and oh, okay, guess I'll read it. Then they're blown away by the master of their craft. If it's a literary classic, if it leaves a huge impact from just 50 pages, then you're oh my gosh, this guy who wrote this is a master. That's what I love.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, you can make a book as long as you want. Les Miserables.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No thanks.
That's not technically a musical, guys. This is a book written in the early 1980s. Or no, not 1980s, 1800s. What did
I was
say?
gonna say.
Holy crap.
Huh.
That was stupid of me. My
Dang,
apologies.
dang.
Anyway, it is so long, but it
Yep.
dives into Jean Valjean's story a lot more than the musical, and definitely a lot more than the movie. So,
Yeah.
that's a great book. I mean, there's so many great books. Of course, the Bible. I mean, let's not
Huh. Yeah, of
poke
course.
around that. Of course, the Bible is great.
Obviously.
We're not going to really dive into that because of, religious stuff, but I will say
Well,
the Bible is a great book.
It's a great book if you're a Christian, That is.
Yeah.
to be
or
fair.
if you're not a Christian, you can like the literary aspect of it. There's so many stories in it, so many
guess so,
uses
yeah.
of poetry in there, like psalms and all that. Great, like first-hand and second-hand stories of like other like little bit of different interpretations of like the gospel and all that. You can really get into it. Anyway, I'm not going to dive into that because basically I don't want to get hate mail or anything, but I will say the Bible is a great book. But,
Yeah.
There's so many books that I'm not even mentioning, like, even It. Holy crap, It. By Stephen King. I mean,
The Book of Wise.
The Book of Wise, if you will.
Yep.
My favorite book, however, finally, I can talk about books all day, like the Hunger Games series, just talk
Yep.
about Harry Potter series.
Harry Potter.
Just gotta mention them because they were worth mentioning. Like, all these series
Yeah.
are just simply wonderful.
Totally.
Even The Martian. The Martian is my number 2 pick because that's such a great book. Also, it's got a scientific aspect of it, which I thoroughly enjoy. Also, it's literally like if this is the actual future and we're going to Mars and people are living on Mars. That's basically this book.
Yeah.
It's a great book. There's so many books I want to mention, but
Mention this one.
what one do you want me to mention?
The one that's your favorite.
Oh, well, okay. Well,
Yeah, yeah,
that's kinda
yeah.
weird. Anyway,
Huh.
the book that's my favorite novel of all time is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck.
Now that is a good choice.
Yes.
I liked it too.
It is a fantastic literary novel. Here's the reason why it's so good for me. Reason
Sure.
being, John Steinbeck originally wrote this to be a play, because he
Yeah.
also wrote plays back in the day.
Right.
And I guess he, I guess he couldn't really sell it or something, or he just found it to work better as a novel, so he changed out the format of it and made it into a novel.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But cool. Cool nonetheless.
Yeah, it was published in 1937, and it tells a story of George and Lenny, aka some of the most parodied characters of all time. There's always a big stupid thug, and there's always like this little skinny like mastermind or whatever.
And then pretty much the mega skits, if you will.
I guess mega skits and small slam there.
It's
Anyway,
like, duh, George, can I touch the horse? Or something, I don't know.
no, it's like Lenny, can you touch the horse? And I'm like, no, George. Get out of the
I got
horse."
him backwards.
Yeah,
My
son,
bad.
what the heck?
My bad. It's been a while. I read this book too,
Yeah, it's
so
a fantastic book. Anyway,
it was a good one. I agree.
You're about George and Lenny, two displaced migrant ranch workers who moved from place to place in California in search of new jobs during the Great Depression. And pretty much nothing really happens except for one thing, and then all of a sudden it just turns to crap. But here's what I love about this book. The fact that even though it's incredibly short, you get the feel that these two guys have been around for a while, and like they've been
Yeah.
friends for a long time. Because Lenny,
Yeah, I
Lenny's a
agree.
smart guy, and George is like this, retarded guy. I don't know if that's the correct term, but they say it in the
Yeah.
book, so I'm saying it here.
I think that's probably correct.
For this particular book, not for anything else, but for this particular book, yes, he's considered retarded, and like I would suspect Lenny would leave George sooner rather than later, but they had to be through some stuff in order to continue to be around continue to be together. So it is simply wonderful. They like get this job at this one ranch, and they work, they do their things, get some
Yeah.
things with George being stupid, and you get some things with Lenny just being like whatever. It's like there's some comedic aspects of it that are set up that's actually pretty well done, I would say.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, there's this woman that really wants to bang George. And,
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot
Yeah.
about that part.
And then she like tries to bang George, and George is like so scared that he kills her. And then they're like on the run again, but Lenny really wants to settle down. George really wants to settle down and have some rabbits. That's where the line, "Tell me about the rabbits, George." That's where that line
Right.
comes from.
That's right.
And spoiler alert, in the end, Lenny has to kill George because George is probably going to be stupid and probably going to like weigh Lenny down if they have to go on the run. So Lenny kills George, and it's very impactful and very
Yep.
well done, honestly. Also,
That's true.
Also, a great aspect of this book is that the reason it was originally a script, so it's kind of cinematic in a sense.
Yeah.
And of course, movies. I'm a big movie buff, and this book kind
Right.
of plays out like a movie. In fact, one of the greatest movies of all, like a very well done, great movie of Mice and Men, with John Malkovich as George.
Oh yeah. I
That-
remember that.
Yeah,
I think I watched some of that.
It's a great movie, and it was based on this novel. Technically, on Wikipedia, they name it as a novella, but I mean, it's technically a novel, so whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's simply wonderful. It's one of the greatest novels of all time. It's one of the great American novels. Not only that, John Steinbeck wrote the great American novel twice.
He did.
He wrote Of Mice and Men, and he wrote the Grapes of Wrath. They were pretty much back to back too. Like this came out in 1937. The Grapes of Wrath came out in like 1939. So he wrote these things from back to back, and it's 187 pages. It's longer than I thought it was, but it's not even 200 pages. And this master of his craft did something that most novelists and writers can't do, and that is make a fantastic story with pretty much two main characters. Like there's like 3 or 5 other side characters, but all in all, like 7 characters in the play, in this book, in 187 pages, and make it last for a long time. The impact unsurmountable. And also the fact that the talking aspect, the dialogue of this book is actually seems like a person would actually say these things, and not like, like a script or something, like very poetic language. No, this is the Great Depression. This is like people down on their luck in the Great Depression. They're not going to talk
Yeah.
like poetically. They're going to talk in slurs and like cuss up a storm, and they're going to like have accents. Like they're gonna say ain't, they're gonna say y'all, and they're gonna say a bunch of other stuff. So all in all,
Yeah.
I can go on about this book, but I'm not going to.
I believe it. I
Yeah,
believe
I'm
it.
not going to.
Huh.
This book is great. I highly recommend this book. Go and get it. It'll take you like maybe, if you're a master reader, maybe 2 hours. If you're not, maybe like an afternoon or something. I don't know. But yeah, great book.
All right, and now let's see. My favorite novel of all time would have to be Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut.
Okay. The fact that he drew boobs in the book, I guess, was kind of a tipping point as well, maybe.
That wasn't necessarily the deciding factor, and until you mentioned that, I totally forgot about that. So, I mean, it helps, but you know,
And also, honestly, like before you begin, I gotta say,
sure,
you like this book, but it's really heavily sci-fi, which is kind of weird. Not really in the regular aspect of sci-fi, but it's technically a sci-fi book nonetheless, and you enjoy this. That's kind of surprising
Yes.
to me.
So, you know, that's true. I do typically not enjoy science fiction because, well, to be fair, there aren't many novel genres I enjoy. I don't really enjoy reading long books. I don't have that much of an attention span. But if I had to read a novel, I would prefer something sci-fi over anything else. That'd probably be the best.
Oh wow.
Either that or historical fiction based on the late 20th century to early 21st century. It'd have to be something like that. So, you know, for me though, I guess you could say this is a very ADHD friendly book.
Oh yes.
It's, you know, it does have a plot, and it's a decent plot, but it's kind of scattered. It's not very linear, and it jumps all over the place.
It jumps
and
all
it's
over
very
the place from this guy's like life, right? From birth to him fighting the war, to him in the future, to him like experimenting with drugs and all that.
And there's a part where he dies for like 10 minutes, then he gets back in time again or something. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, why don't you like try to explain the plot to us?
Well, so you got Billy Pilgrim, who was a World War II soldier. I believe he gets captured and he becomes a war prisoner for a little bit. Then he makes friends with a Russian guy who ends up being a spy who tries to kill him later on and fails, if I remember correctly. He marries this ugly fat woman for some reason, and there's a part in the book where it very explicitly describes how he impregnated her. I thought that was hilarious. I mean, it really goes into great detail about that. It's
Sure
funny.
It does.
Oh man,
It's kind of weird. I mean,
it is.
for Kurt Vonnegut. I mean, this is an
Yeah.
anti-war novel. It's almost like porn, almost, but whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's barely getting into that category. It's like erotic fiction kind of thing.
I guess. Yeah. Anyway,
Although I don't think that was an intent. So
it wasn't
you
the
know,
intent.
I don't think
So
he
what?
wrote this as like an erotic novel. It was just it had that part in it, which
Yeah.
happened to be erotic, you know.
Yeah, I guess. And of course, this thing was published in 1969, so I'm pretty sure he was on some drugs while he was.
He very well could have been.
Yeah.
It did have a very trippy vibe to it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good job, Kurt.
yes. For me, I enjoyed it more for the humor and the comedic nature than anything, and that's probably the only reason I loved reading it and actually willingly sat down to read it without Deborah trying to force it upon me. So,
Yeah, it is a dark comedy novel, which is very
Yeah.
good. I read it as well, and it is pretty funny, I gotta say. I think maybe the reason why it goes so in depth in that is because of the natural comedy itself. Like, what?
Yeah.
They're probably like, the
it's
heck?
like, it's that got that wow factor,
It's like,
That's what it is.
what am I reading? What am I reading here?
It's supposed to make you like purposefully have a facepalm moment, and be like, oh my god, why? But then laugh about it. And aside from that, this is my favorite novel mainly just because it's one of the few novels that I recall, actually enjoying reading. And there's very few that I can say that about. But this was one of them, and it was probably the most entertaining. So, that is my top pick.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
well,
all I got.
Alright then. Just to say here, though, this is Kurt Vonnegut's best-selling novel. And he died in 2007, which I
Right.
didn't think he would. He actually lived that far into the 21st century, so okay.
Yep.
He's probably disappointed from the war on terrorism, but whatever. Anyway,
Yeah,
that
that's my pick.
is a very good pick. Now
Thank
on to the worst of AC/DC novels.
Worst
or
AC
AC/DC albums.
Albums.
Why do I keep on mixing up these two?
The Book of Rock.
The book,
And-
the Book of Rock. Anyway,
All right.
let's get into the worst AC/DC album. Hendry, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Sure. I'll go first.
Okay.
For me, probably the worst AC/DC album is Fly on the Wall. Ever heard of it?
I have not. Tell us about it.
That's the point
Yeah.
right there. It's got. So I have like an ultimate AC/DC playlist,
Do you-
and I've tried
on
to.
Spotify.
Yeah, and
This podcast This podcast is a sponsored by Spotify. No, it's not. Anyway, if only if we were sponsored by Spotify. We've been talking about Spotify so much in this podcast already.
So let me give you some reviews here. AllMusic says, Fly on the Wall continues AC/DC's descent into cookie-cutter mediocrity, with the leering humor of past glories seeming forced and uninspired, and the music remaining somewhat underdeveloped and directionless.
Wow. Not holding back.
No. Here's the Rolling Stone.
Oh, the Rolling Stone. 2
If
out
you
of
like
5
what they-
stars for.
If you like what they said about the Razor's Edge,
no,
hold
it
on
is.
to your hats.
Oh, here we go.
You never guess how
1/4 of a,
sexist.
1/4 of a
Oh.
star out of 1/4 of a star out of 5 stars. I don't know. What,
Probably.
I don't know. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
So, they said, you'd never guess how sexist and politically incorrect all this is if you didn't read the lyric sheet, because you sure can't make out a single word coming out of the dentist's drill glottis of Brian Johnson. Except maybe the song titles, which tend to be repeated like mantras. And Angus Young is also in great form, playing the dumbest, most irresistibly repetitive chords in the lexicon. Okay,
Oh my gosh. When did this thing come out?
1985.
1985.
Yeah,
Oh, so was this the
probably their worst period of their career,
Was
in
this-
my opinion.
was this when they this is the time when they descended into their like worst parts of their careers or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
This is probably their rock bottom album to me. Others may say it's other albums. I think it's this one though. I don't know. To me, when I went through, I was trying to be fair and explore all of their albums and hear what they were like. This one, at first, I was like, oh my god, they have an album that I didn't like a single song from. I didn't know that was possible. And later on, I kind of took a liking to this one song called Stand Up, which is definitely not their best, but it's not bad. It's enjoyable. Like, if it came on the radio, I'd sing along to it. They have Sink the Pink, which is kind of catchy. The Fly on the Wall song, I don't even remember how that goes, so it probably wasn't that good. The album cover's kind of funny. It's got a cartoon fly stuck in a wall made out of wood. Then there's a guy with his eyeball through a hole in the wood. So that's kind of funny. But I mean, it's just kind of man, and really, it's just about as mediocre as it gets, unfortunately. You know, their type of rock music was kind of falling out of favor to the more like a hair glam metal type of stuff from Poison and what is it? There's a band that I got a name. The Scorpions, yeah. And later on, Guns N' Roses, you know, were kind of coming into play. So, yeah, it was definitely not their best, but it's still not like, it's not so bad that it's just like, oh my god, I hate it. It's just, I don't know, it's very uninspiring. So that's how about
What?
you? What's your least favorite?
My apologies. You were kind of breaking up there for a second. Anyway.
Bad.
Yeah. So yeah. My least favorites of all the AC/DC things or albums is Iron Man 2, the soundtrack. Iron Man 2, the soundtrack album is kind of bad. Why? Because it's just it's just their greatest hits. That's all it is. They didn't make a single song for this album.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the closest thing that they actually released or made for this album is War Machine, which was on the Black Ice app.
Read by Slam Linden from Wikipedia.
I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to get all the
I'm reading it too.
stuff. Anyway, so War Machine from the Black Ice album, but that's
a good album, by the way. Black Ice, it's good.
Yeah, but the Iron Man 2 soundtrack is not. Why? Because it's just 15 of the greatest hits. That's it.
It's a compilation.
I mean, yeah, that's not good. It's bad.
And
like, there was they did the soundtrack for like what? Oh, crap! I just had it. The movie by Stephen King.
Who Made Who? That one?
No, it's not Who Made Who. It's
that's the soundtrack.
Maybe it is. Let me double check.
I think it is that one.
I'm going. Yes, Maximum Overdrive. Who Made Who? The Out studio album. Anyway, they made original songs for Who Made Who, the soundtrack to Maximum Overdrive, right? At least they made new songs for that, but they didn't make any new songs for Iron Man 2. This Iron Man 2 soundtrack is just the compilation of their greatest hits. Like, what the heck? Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it. It made the movie better, even though Iron Man 2
Yeah.
isn't the best, in my opinion, but it certainly wasn't the worst MCU movie. But I'm not going to review that movie. I'm going to review the Iron Man 2 soundtrack, which is
Yes,
simply
you are.
nothing but their
Yeah.
greatest hits.
Yup.
I can make a playlist on Spotify of their greatest hits and get the
I
same
mean,
reaction.
You can. You
Oh.
just have to remember this came out before that was a thing.
I mean, that's also true, but I could make a burned CD of their greatest hits,
There you go.
even at that time, like 2010. I can make a burned CD
And-
of their greatest
Yeah.
hits and
And
get
for
this-
me, it's even with the selection of songs, they've got some obvious choices on here, but then they put some on here that I don't quite understand why.
Yeah, that's another reason.
Like
Like some of the songs choices are just kind of weird. Like
Of all the songs they picked from Powerage, they picked Rock and Roll Damnation, which is good, but I'm surprised they didn't put something like upbeat and exciting like Riff Raff, which I'll talk about a little later. Or for those about to rock We Salute You, they picked Evil Walks of all things, and
Yeah.
not for those about to rock We Salute You, which is like one of their top songs of all time.
yeah, they also
can't
have
believe
like
they
if you
left
want
that out.
blood, you've got it. Like what the heck?
Well, that's actually a decent song
oh,
though.
really? Well, I
Yeah,
have other opinions about that, but whatever. Anyway,
fair enough.
so anyway, they could at least if they gave us one song, at least one song, there would be a reason to buy this album, but there isn't. You can in 2010, you can burn a CD with their greatest hits and you can get the same reaction than this album gave. It's kind of a waste of money.
You can get other greatest hits compilations that probably have all of these, and more, like the Backtracks compilation. Guarantee you has, it's got all of that stuff and more on
Yeah,
it.
I guess, but I
So-
mean, honestly, I don't like compilation CDs. Honestly, I mean,
Me
I
either.
can just like nowadays I can just go on Spotify and just create a playlist. But even back
Yeah.
then, like in 2010, I could make a CD, just burn a few songs onto a CD and get the same reaction. I don't need to buy a compilation. I can just burn a CD. I could just pay for the MP3s, which costs like next to nothing, like maybe $1 back then, and just make a compilation CD for like less money than it would be for a compilation CD to buy at Walmart or whatever. Like, at least Maximum Overdrive soundtrack, at least they had new songs. Like, this one doesn't even have new songs. That's kind of sad, honestly. And that's my rants for Iron Man 2 soundtrack. I don't really want to talk about this anymore because it makes me mad.
Well, yeah, I do agree with you. I kind of wish that they had, something new on there, but at least
it's
if
the
you do
best
get it,
of- this is
like
the
if you do
best.
get it, you'll get a good song selection. Still,
Yeah.
they picked some that I'm kind of shocked at, and they left out for those about to rock We Salute You, which is unacceptable because that is probably one of their top 10 best ones of all time,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's BS.
Exactly.
So,
Anywho,
cool.
now on to best and worst novels.
A
Crap.
worst novel. Just the
No,
worst.
yeah, just the worst novels. What am I talking about?
I don't know.
So infuriated by Iron Man 2 soundtrack. Now I'm gonna be more infuriated by these other books.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Let's get some Starbucks or something, man.
Speaking of that, That's my least favorite book.
Might as well be.
Twilight.
Yeah.
My least favorite book of all time. Holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, there's been...
Let's get some Starbucks and Twilight. I could see those being in the same sentence easily.
Yeah. So
Definitely 10 years ago.
So here's the deal, okay? There's been some bad novels.
Yes.
There's always been bad books. You can't
Yeah.
avoid them because simply
No,
put,
I couldn't.
simply put,
Thanks
you can,
to teachers.
simply put, you can publish pretty much anything whenever you want. I mean, look at 50
I
Shades
could.
of Grey. That was published. There were 3 books that were published in that
Oh, I
series.
guess it was
no.
good to someone.
No, there were 4 books published in that series, okay?
Yeah.
Which is unacceptable, but for some reason you can get anything published at any time. So you can 50 Shades of Grey was published. Why not anything else? There's been a lot of horse crap put out,
Yeah.
but the worst book that I have actually read is Twilight.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Son.
I believe it.
Son, look. It's not about the fact that it's about teenagers and it's about a teenage.
Oh.
It's not the fact that it's about teenage girls, okay? Some of the most hated people in all of media, apparently. It's not because of the fact that it's about vampires and completely contradicts everything in normal vampire lore. Like the fact that they sparkle in the sun. And they don't die.
Yeah.
They sparkle. Aww.
Yeah.
That's so
That's
nice.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, and the fact that, oh, they don't get hurt by garlic or anything. And they are actually superheroes that can jump really high and run really fast, like
Yeah.
the Flash. It's
Huh.
none of that stuff. It's the
Yup.
fact that they... It's just the writing aspect of it, son. Like, you
Yeah.
can probably pull this off, maybe, but if you don't have a clear Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, you don't have a book. You don't have
Yeah.
a story. Essentially what you have is fan fiction. And that's what this
Yeah.
book is. It's fan fiction brought to us by the worst novelist probably ever in existence up until the writer of 50 Shades of Grey, which I am not even going to say the name of because she writes fan fiction. She's always written fan fiction. She's a fan fictionist. She might as well just be on a blog on the internet. I don't care about her. I'm not going to compliment her by saying her name. But I will say the name of the author of Twilight, and that is Stephanie Meyer, okay? My gosh, man.
Yeah.
This woman... Oh my gosh, man. I get it. She's got a lot of, like, criticism in the past. And I get that. I get that. She wants to hide from all the criticism, granted. But she was hiding from all the critics. She was hiding from everybody before then, okay? Essentially, she lives in a bubble where the only thing that she hears is praise. And her brother, like, I guess, goes through her mail, goes through her emails, deletes all the emails that are horrible, deletes that are, like, criticize her work. Like, cuts out, like, newspaper articles that criticize her work. Like, goes through the mail and, like, throws out all the mail that criticize her work and only allows Stephanie Meyer to receive praise for her writing.
Yeah.
And she's okay with this. She knows what he's doing, and she's fine with it. She lives in a bubble, and she loves it. I mean, my gosh, how do you become better if you can't take criticism? I mean, you gotta take criticism in order to be better, and act better, and mature, and do better things, but she doesn't. She just keeps on, like, writing bull crap. I mean, she's written, like, I think she's written 4 Twilight books.
It gets better.
What?
I don't know if you knew this, but apparently there are 2 graphic novels as well now.
Of Twilight?
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I knew that, the Game of Thrones have some graphic novels as well. They kind of pull from the novels and just, like, draw pictures and have them speak the dialogue. Pretty much. It's kind of like that. So, I don't really go into that. She has never written a graphic novel, thank God, because that would just be even more atrocious, and I would laugh my way to heaven, I guess.
Yeah.
But holy crap, son.
I'll say this. I think this book is really intended with one purpose, and that is to appeal to adolescent teenage girls and, like late middle school, early high school who are, dealing with sexual development and sexual identity and, understanding how they feel towards men that are in their environment and why what these desires mean. I think it kind of touches that subject.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, you can.
That's probably why it was popular.
Yeah, you can have that. That's fine. I don't care about that. You can write about that to your heart's desire.
Many people have.
Yeah, many people have, and have done it really well. Like The Hunger Games, for instance. That's a greatly written book. The problem is with Twilight is the fact that it is so atrociously long. And
It's
got
it's very long.
it doesn't even have 3 acts. It has 6. There's
Oh my god.
There's 4 acts in this thing.
Wow.
It's
Oh man.
it's like the setup. The setup for this thing. It lasts all the way to the middle of the book, and then it finally the plot actually starts going. It's so, and they play stupid vampire baseball.
Yeah, I remember that part in the movie.
Oh my gosh! And don't even get me started on the movies. But anyway,
I definitely won't. I definitely won't.
I don't want to talk about them.
Thank God.
Yeah. Thank God.
Thank God.
You could say that this review is as long and treacherous and boring as the book.
Oh man. How's that for some self-deprecating humor?
Yeah. Anyway, this book is atrocious. It's way
Yeah.
too long. It's boring.
Yep.
It pukes.
Oh yes.
It spits on vampire lore. It spits on actual good teenage girl books. It spits.
Yeah.
It spits on It spits on good authors. It spits on good YA novels in general, and Stephanie Meyer should take a creative writing class and actually learn to write. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. Thank God it's over. I don't have to talk about this thing anymore. At least for now.
I think ultimately, it's just one of those things that most men probably won't be able to read and enjoy, and I don't know, it must have done something right, because it was extremely popular.
Yeah.
How? Not 100% sure. I'm guessing it's something about the way that, not to be sexist, but the way that women associate things in life and how they process their emotions in a different way than men. I think it appeals to that, descriptive element that they crave, and the whole idea of the experience of the romance, which is what they, I think, get more aroused by compared to us liking what we see right in front of us. And I think plot-wise, it's got potential. It's got some good elements from what I can tell, but it was just not implemented well at all. And
Yeah.
like you were saying with the beginning part, where like the majority of the first part's a bunch of descriptive things, and the actual plot doesn't begin until later. You know, I think that again could be appealing to the female audience, but you know, for us, no thanks.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
thanks.
this is like the women's version of Transformers. Like, there's Transformers. The first movie was fine, I guess, but all the sequels were complete horse crap. But
Could be.
they kept on making money, and they kept on making them because people went and saw them, especially men and teenage boys. This is the same thing, but for girls. It's trash, it's crap, and I can't get behind it. I can't get behind the Transformers movies, honestly, except for Bumblebee. Maybe the
Oh
first
yeah, that was
Transformers
a good
movie.
one. Bumblebee was good.
Yeah, maybe the first Transformers movie.
Yeah.
And worst part about it, from what I've heard, this book is the best of the series. I mean, holy crap.
Yeah, probably.
She didn't get better at all.
No.
Stephanie Meyer? Take a
Oh,
creative writing
Stephanie,
take a creative writing class in college, please. Just
go back to school,
yeah,
please, Stephanie.
learn something. And now, son, let's talk about your least favorite novel. Help me to get out of this bull crap of Stephanie Meyer's Twilight.
Sure thing. You know, I'd say I hated the majority of the novels that I had to read. So it was a tough choice. But my least favorite has to be, hands down, A Tale of Two Shitties. Oh, sorry. A Tale of Two Cities. My bad. I forgot. I got that mixed up in my head there, you know. Ho ho ho.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, Charles Dickens, but maybe I'm just not the right person for this book. I know that it's one of those timeless classic books and whatnot, but oh my god, I could not get through this. It was, oh
Why don't you
my
explain
lord.
the plots and why
If-
this sucks, son?
From, you know what? I blocked a lot of that out of my memory, so I'm gonna have to look up the plot.
Well, I will say this. Charles Dickens is kind of the same elements, I guess, like contemporary writers. Like, he wrote about stuff from his point of view in his time. So that's kind of more or less why he's so famous, is because he was the first author to actually like do that. He's like, you know, he's from Britain. He's like, you know, the stereotypical like slum kid who rose to be a novelist, and he became very popular. He didn't become popular with A Tale of Two Cities, but I think he rose to like stardom and most popularity with A Christmas Carol, because that book actually ended nicely, whereas his other books ended pretty sad.
Yeah, this kind of had a sad ending,
Yeah.
from what I remember.
So
Our
why don't you give
English,
us the plot?
sure.
Let's
Well,
talk about the English or whatever. What you were gonna say?
oh, I was just gonna say that our high school English teacher, I remember she teared up a little bit when we talked about the end. From what I remember. This is what you missed out on for not taking honors British literature. Or no,
No.
honors world literature.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that anyway.
You took I think you took CP anyway.
Yeah, I did take CP because
I should have done that.
Yeah, it was hard enough.
Oh my god.
My gosh. That
Wow.
was so great.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I think this might have been her favorite book of all time. It would not surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
The way that she went on about this bad boy, holy crap, son. Man, I've never seen a woman become so passionate about a work of literature. And I just did not like it at all. Oh my god. Man.
Yeah, boy.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
Let's talk about the plot.
So, basically, let's see. There's way more characters than my ADHD brain can keep up with.
Wasn't it about like this poor guy and this rich guy split like trading places or something like that?
Kind of. There's way more going on. There's this guy named Jerry Cruncher who works at Tellson's Bank in London, and he's carrying a message for Jarvis Lorry, who is one of the bank's managers. So, for whatever reason, Mr. Lorry sends Jerry Cruncher to deliver a cryptic message response to the bank called Recalled to Life, which is also the name of the chapter. And I remember we had to talk about the significance of that, and I was just ready to get out of the class. So the message talks about Alexandre Manette. Yeah, Mr. Manette, I remember that. French physician who was in the Bastille for 18 years, you know, the prison. Mr. Lorry goes to Dover, meets, or Dr. Manette, sorry. Dr. Manette's daughter, Lucy, and the governess, Miss Pross. I don't remember what she did. I'm just going off of Wikipedia, really. This is coming back to me some. Anyway, so Lucy finds out that her father is alive, so they go to France for them to reunite. I don't know how or why they're doing this for this girl, but I mean, good on them. They get there, and we suddenly shift to Ernest Defarge and his like alpha female feminist wife, Teresa Defarge, who people I seem to remember being like scared of or something. I remember this woman was not a pleasing person. They had a wine shop. You know, they were all pissed off about stuff in the French Revolution going on. Then we have Charles Darnay starting in Book the Second, not Part 2, Book the Second.
Oh, there's multiple books in this thing?
They call it Book the First, Book the Second, and Book the Third.
So there's 3 books. 3 books in this one book.
But they weren't ever published separately, as far as I know. It was just the one novel. Why he couldn't just say Part 1 through 3? I don't know.
Back then, books were kind of like comic books. They were released in like these, like chapter by chapter. Like
yeah, I'm aware of that, but even still, I don't think this one was like that.
Oh,
which
really?
is weird. Yeah, as far as I know, I don't see any mention of that. Oh wait, hold up. Nope. Okay, it was like that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
I remember the same teacher telling us about that. So
okay, well, I barely tried in that class, and that was before I knew I had ADHD. So I was just sitting there zoning out hard because I didn't care about it.
Oh gosh.
Let's see. Charles Darnay is a rich guy on trial for treason against the British. There's John Barsad and Roger Cly who are witnesses. I remember there was a test question I got wrong about them, probably. Folks, I made like a D on the test for this, so that shows you how much I didn't care about it.
Uh,
what happens now?
This is very, 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 very long book.
Yes, it was.
Oh my
That's
God.
another reason I hated it. We're just like halfway there.
Well, let's wrap it up because I don't want to hear this anymore. Just
Man,
really-
I heard a lot about the damn Nostalgia Critic.
All right,
so
well, if you want
it's
to, that's
fair. It's fair.
I mean, you talked a lot about AC/DC, so
Fair enough.
and plus you
all
read
right.
this, so
Yeah. I'll try to speed it up. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to follow it. That's why it's taking so long. Okay. Then we have Sidney Carton, who's some other guy who just happens to look like Charles Darnay by some random ass chance.
Some random
That-
ass chance.
yeah. Yeah,
Some
pretty much.
Some cells just happen to collide and like
I
become
guess.
the exact same in different people's bodies somehow.
And our teacher probably went on about wonder why this happened. You know, what could be the story?
Magic.
It's like saying, why did they have all the Senate meetings in Episode 2 of Star Wars?
Or
What's the
Episode 1
backstory
of
for
Star
that?
Wars.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean,
I
George
remember-
Lucas was watching C-SPAN. There you go.
I mean, to me, this seems like something George Lucas might write. I could see that.
But yeah, I can see it not being good from our perspective, from our modern eyes, but maybe back then it was
Yeah.
better. It made more sense because honestly, I don't know. I've never read the book, so
You don't want to, man. You really don't want to. Just stick to A Christmas Carol.
yeah, Christmas
Or
Carol
maybe,
is shorter, surprisingly.
Maybe Oliver Twist. I've never read that one,
I've
but
never read that one.
that one might be good.
The only Charles Dickens book I've read, because I know this one has a happy ending, is A Christmas Carol.
As
Because
have I.
yeah, because it actually has a happy ending. I don't like sad endings in books. I mean,
Me either.
except for maybe of Mice and Men. That was kind of a sad ending, but
Fair enough.
also kind of hopeful. I don't know. Anyway,
So anyway, let's see. So, John Barsad, one of the two spies in the court, just points out how Sidney Carton and Charles look very similar, and apparently Barsad says to Stryver that they look almost identical, and Darnay is acquitted now because of this, and Barsad's eyewitness testimony is discredited. Darn.
oh well,
Th-
dang.
Oh well. So back in Paris now, there's the Marquis Saint Evermond. That was my French accent there. Who was abusive and hated amongst the people. He orders that his carriage is driven recklessly fast through the crowded streets on purpose, and then that kills a child of Gaspard in Saint Antoine. Wait, who is Gaspard? I don't even know who Gaspard is. See, that's another thing. There's another random ass character that pops up that apparently, in our teacher's eyes and all these bright students who did so well in this class, it just made sense. But
I guess
no, not to me. I don't know where the hell that guy came from. Still don't. Man, reading this article is triggering.
I said
Ugh.
triggered.
Anyway, let's see what happens now. Gaspard, the Marquis. Oh yeah, I remember we talked about this in class a lot. As a compensation for this child dying, the Marquis is like, I will throw him le coin in the streets. Oh, and just throws Gaspard a coin, and it's one of those like WTF moments. Like, you call that a compensation? It's like if someone killed your child and you're like, I'm sorry, to make up for your loss, I'll give you $100. It's like that, I guess. So pretty bad on his part. And now Defarge, the winery owner, sees this and comforts the Gaspard guy who's, upset, obviously, and saying the child would be worse off alive. I don't know about that. I wish the child would have lived. But to each his own. Charles, I respect your opinion. So this piece of wisdom apparently pleases the Marquis, and then he throws a coin to Defarge. I don't get that, but okay. So in response to this pleasing act of goodness, supposedly as a passive aggressive thing, a coin is flown back into the Marquis' carriage, and he goes off. He goes back to the chateau that he lives at. Oh, and now apparently, shock. Charles Darnay is the nephew and heir for the Marquis. Interesting. And Charles Darnay is so pissed at his family that he sheds his aristocratic surname, which is Saint Evermond, and is anglicized in his mother's maiden name, which is De Lunais. De Lunai. I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay, we're getting there. So, more pointless BS goes on. So Gaspard, in revenge, stabs the Marquis, I think, with a knife, and leaves a note that says the classic, and this was probably on the test that I failed: drive him fast to his tomb. This from Jacques. And no idea what that's supposed to mean. After nearly a year on the run, Gaspard is hanged in the streets. Back in London now, Darnay asks for Dr. Manette's permission to get married to Lucy. Wants to, understandable. She's probably pretty hot. Doesn't say though. Then Sydney Carton also loves this girl because they also happen to be identical looking people, so they might as well love the girl too.
You know what this sounds like?
What?
Sounds like a soap opera.
You know what? That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
finish it
God.
up though, because I'm getting bored listening to you.
You know what? I know how you feel. But let's continue on. We're almost to the end of book the second. Oh my god.
No, okay. I think we got the point. Please.
Oh, we don't have the point.
We do have the point. Please. I don't
No.
want to listen to it anymore.
No.
Please.
Alright, I'll try to sound excited.
No.
But then, guess what, folks? On the morning of the great marriage of Charles Darnay and Lucy.
Are you reading the Wikipedia article?
Kind of.
Are you serious?
Man,
just listen to.
I don't remember
Guys,
what happened.
Guys, if you want
I don't
a
remember.
summary of A Tale of Two Cities, please read the Wikipedia article. Anyway,
nope.
I think we all got the point.
But, yeah, I think you see how awful this is.
Yes.
This
Oh my
is
gosh.
exhausting just to read.
It's exhausting
In the
just to hear.
end, somehow, I think, which one goes to prison? I will at least mention this in the end. Let's see.
us see, let us see, let us see.
It's the guy that gets arrested. So, Madame Defarge wants to kill Charles Darnay, I think, or something. Yeah, then Darnay's the guy that is gonna be at the guillotine with his head chopped off, but then Sidney Carton changes places with him because Carton gets killed so Lucy can marry a man that she loves, and he probably dramatically did it so because he loved her and whatever. Then that's the end.
Thank God.
It stops
crap.
there. Stops with Sidney Carton getting killed, and then that's the end.
Oh, thank God. Holy crap. That book was way too long.
Yes! It was! Now let's talk about why I hated it, finally.
Oh, what?
First of all, it was so long, and it dragged on, and on, and on, and
I'll tell you
I don't
what.
know why they made us read this. It sucked. Oh God, it sucked. And you know what else?
I'll tell you what, though.
What?
The first, like, the summary of the plots, like, you know, two guys that look the same, one poor, one rich, switching
By some
places.
random ass chance. Remember, it's a random ass chance.
Yeah, the random ass chance. That I can see that working. That is a fantastic idea. Whether or not the execution of it is
Yeah,
good
that's
or
the
not.
problem with the book. See, it's got a lot of great ideas that would be awesome. And I think ultimately, if you read this like in chunks as like a serial, like it was published before,
yeah, then it would work.
in
But
31 weekly installments, and you know that was the best source of entertainment pretty much, unless you played the cello or something. I don't know.
like that ring game with the stick.
You could play the ring game with a stick. Not
Yeah.
sure what you're talking about.
It's like this circle thing that people like pushed along with a stick. It's like literally a hula hoop that you push along with a stick.
Oh, wait, shuffleboard? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's like a wheel. It's like this.
What?
It's a hula hoop. It's an old game. It's an old toy where you have like this hula hoop thing that rolls, and you push it along with a stick around town, around the streets. It's
Yeah.
very popular back. It was very popular back in the early 1800s for kids to do that. They get one of those hula hoops and a stick and just push it along.
What else? You know, if I read it in a chunk like that and not out of force from Deborah and then having to pretty much reread the book again. Oh, let's not forget, hold on. I had to annotate this damn book with a pencil. Why? In the Holy Mother of Earth would I have to annotate such a shitty book? God! Oh. You know what? I'd rather read Twilight than read this.
You know,
At least that would be comically bad. This was just awful.
I had to annotate the Grapes of Wrath, but I never did. So, yeah.
Oh, no. We had to have the annotations graded.
Oh, yeah. Lucky you.
Yeah, lucky me. And I've got to be on my annotations at that.
Oh man.
And at that, I still barely understood what happened. I kind of got it, but not quite. And then our teacher made us reread the book and like re-annotate it or something. And if I remember correctly, we had to like re-annotate this damn thing a second time. A second time.
You had to buy a new book and like
Oh,
annotate it again.
no. We took the copy that we had and re-annotated it just to kind of, and we had to like add in, you know, the notes that we needed to put in to study for the test, which
Oh,
I
gosh.
guess I did do. And
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
so
with that type
I'm not
of
done.
okay.
And you know what? I think we spent at least a month and a half on this book, if not 2 months. And my God, I was so glad when we were done and we actually moved on to something in the textbook. And I remember thinking about, because I had a golf cart back then, and I was just like, man,
I'm gonna ride the golf cart.
I'm gonna drive this golf cart around, and I'm gonna throw this book out of it, and I'm gonna run over it with the golf cart. Because I'm still not old enough to have a license yet, so that's what I'm gonna do. And
Yeah.
I think for this, what went with it was I threw it out of the golf cart in the yard, and then I just picked it up.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
it's
checked
not
it
like
out.
it was a valuable antique copy or anything.
Of
I
course
wouldn't
not.
have done it if it was that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bought it in the first place.
That would cost like
Just
thousands of dollars, probably.
imagine if I bought like a damn antique first print 1800s copy of this book, and I annotated it with a pen, and then gave it to the teacher to grade. She would have been so
She'd probably have a
pissed.
heart attack.
She would have probably given me an F because I ruined the antique copy.
I will say this though, like there are some books that were written in that such a way that
Yeah.
seemed like fairly decent books, like Huck Finn. I read that book. That book,
It's way better than this.
yeah, like
by
the,
far.
I think Mark Twain kind of saw the overall aspect of it. It's episodic, of course,
Oh yeah,
but
definitely.
it
Yeah,
works better than what you're describing, because what I think Charles
Dickens, not Darwin.
Dickens, not Darwin. What the heck? Anyway, Charles Darwin. No, Dickens.
And not
I
Darwin.
did it again.
Once again.
What the heck?
Yes, you did.
Charles Dickens. There we go.
Yes.
I think
there we
Charles
have it.
Dickens kind of saw the because he was from the slums in Great Britain, so it's kind of, how do
Yeah.
I make more money? Oh, I'll just make these weird things happen and just extend this novel so atrociously long so I can make more money, because I think they got the they got residuals based on
Yeah.
how many you can get, and then like once it was finally done, then you can buy the whole book. I don't
I
think
guess.
A Christmas Carol was written in that way.
I hope not. My God, that book was a tiny ass novella. I don't even think it's 100 pages long. It's
Yeah,
probably like
I-
85, 83.
I don't think so. I
Yeah.
think, like, I saw a biopic of
Yeah.
that, his creation of a Christmas Carol, which, to be honest, I don't know how true it is, but in that he had to write a whole book in like 2 months,
Yeah.
and he wrote it in 2 months, and it's one of his best work ever. So I don't think it was written like that, but I can see why it was written in that way, like from a business aspect of it. But again, business compromising the integrity of the art. It's just
Yeah.
I got bored just listening to you go on and on about the overall thing of it.
Man, I got so bored reading it that I got confused and forgot where I was reading. That's what always happened to me, and this is why I hate reading novels. It's because I sit there and try to read it, and then I reread the same line like 5 times because I can't remember where it started. And it's so frustrating. And I would sit there and have to do this. It would take me like 5 times as long to read a book. Everyone was all done, like, all right, I'm gonna go play my video game now. And I'm sitting there frustrated. Then I'm like, I'm tired of doing this, so I'm gonna start pushing a car around. Son, do your homework.
Okay, we're going into the dark mind of the Hendry now. The Hendry is triggered, ladies and gentlemen. The Hendry is triggered. Let's avoid this now.
Let's finish this. I can't take this anymore.
Last thing, and then
I'm not feeling so good after this.
Last thing, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
I'm kind of feeling that way with It. Like, I'm reading Stephen King's It right now.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to the audiobook as well. And I can't understand it anymore. It's so long. It's so tedious. It's like all this stuff.
At least that's kind of interesting.
The Wise is barely in it. He's like in it for like maybe... He's barely in it. It's just about, you know, the kids, and most of the time it's like the adult. Yeah, I keep on getting lost in it. So I understand what you're saying. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on from this bull crap. Hashtag Hendry.
So, like, I would give this a minus 10 out of 10 if I could. If you want to learn about the French Revolution, there are far better ways to do it than read this.
Les Mis, for crying out loud. That's a better book than this, even though it's super long.
It might be. For me, it'd probably be equally bad. Maybe a small step up in the right direction, but the extra length would make up for it probably.
I liked the book. It was fairly decent, but
I'll end on this on a good note. On the bright side, at least, fun fact, The Dark Knight Rises, the screenplay was inspired by this book.
Of The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
Or The Dark Knight Returns?
No, The Dark Knight Rises.
The movie?
Yeah.
It was based on The Dark Knight Returns, the graphic novel.
Well, I guess The Dark Knight Returns is also based on this.
What is it, like... I can't see the comparison. Like,
I can't quite either. Let's see. One of the most...
Reading.
Yeah, pretty much. Development, here we go. Here it is.
What the heck? This is based on... Like, I know Batman Begins was based on Batman Year One, and I know The Dark Knight was kinda loosely based on The Long Halloween, and but The Dark Knight Rises was clearly The Dark Knight Returns.
Wow. Let's see. No one wanted... There's Bane! What else we got? Still, somehow, script was inspired by A Tale of Two Cities. I don't know. Oh, you know what? To be totally honest, let's see. Okay, yeah, this is the one with Bane, right? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was making sure.
Son.
You know, I don't see it. I don't
see it either. What the heck?
I think this is probably my favorite Batman movie I've ever seen of all time.
People would disagree with you, but I do not. Good going, Andrei.
I've actually never seen a Dark Knight Returns. I don't know why. That's on my to-do list.
Dark Knight Returns is a graphic
novel. No. What am I talking about? What is it? The Dark Knight. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh,
I got that mixed up in my head.
Wonder
I've never seen that one. That's why I was close.
The Dark Knight Dark Knight Returns is actually like an animated movie, like a
It is.
direct-to-video anime movie. It's
That
part
I
1
know
and part
about.
2, and it's actually pretty good. I gotta say, it's a very well done animated movie. Anyway, let's
So,
get off of this finally.
Yeah.
Holy crap! Hashtag triggered hand dry. Let's go on to something else.
Yes.
Theme park reviews, brought to you
That's
by
right.
the great people of It's Entertainment Bro and D Podcast. Let's talk about Men in Black Alien Attack.
Yes. Let's do it.
Oh boy.
So, why did you not like this ride? Because I didn't hate it. I mean, I didn't love it, but it's not a bad experience, really.
So here's the deal, okay? This thing was made, I guess, exclusively for Universal Studios Florida,
Okay.
and it was made right after the first movie came out.
That would make sense.
And what's funny is, like, Will Smith reprised his role as Agent J in the ride, and Tommy Lee
Yeah.
Jones is nowhere to be seen because he's Tommy Lee Jones, and if he doesn't like something, he won't do it. Especially if it's like interviews, he will not do interviews.
So I guess he didn't like the ride, did he?
I guess not, and I don't blame
Huh.
him.
Why do you not blame him?
Well, to be honest, we went there at like during the parade, I guess, or like right before it closed. It's like our last
Yep.
ride at Universal Studios Florida.
Right?
And I don't know. It was just kind of like it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It wasn't impressive. I guess.
It's kind of generic from today's standards, but
Yes, it's like
it's something that may have been kind of high tech in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was probably cool then, but
you remember.
yeah, I think it's kind of dated feeling.
You remember a Toy Story Mania?
Yeah, it's a lot like that.
It's a lot like that, except it's kind of real almost. Like these monsters pop up, or no, these aliens, because you know space. Aliens pop up out of nowhere, and then you gotta shoot them, and then that's it.
As someone who has been on Toy Story Mania, I can tell you that it was a bit more fun.
Yeah, because it's Toy
Not-
Story.
I
This-
wouldn't say it was like extremely more fun, but I liked it better.
Yeah.
But then again, it was newer, and I like Toy Story more than Men in Black.
Yeah, I mean, I like Toy Story probably a little bit more than Men in Black as well. But then again, it's like comparing apples to oranges almost.
Yeah, I know.
They're movies, but they're different kinds of movies. Anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
This thing is kind of boring. You just sit in a thing and you shoot, and that's it. There's really nothing
It's-
else to it. There's like
It's more about the game element, I think, in the competition than the ride.
maybe that was it. Maybe mainly because there was barely anybody on the ride at that time.
Well, it was more like you and the other guy that's with you are competing, or
Yeah.
girl, I guess. But
I guess it was just a giant, like weird, like laser tag type of thing, and
yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. I'd rather play laser tag than like shoot at alien toys.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those rides where, like, if you have time, go for it, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have the time. Like, unless you're slammed, spend your time on the Hulk, by all means, and the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, and the Mummy, of course. That is such a great one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, where Slam looked like he prayed or something, and
all those rides and more will be discussed in later
Well,
podcasts. But
we already did discuss the Mummy and the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. Though.
yeah,
Just so we're clear.
I mean, yeah, but you know, there's these also, I've been praising like Universal Orlando or whatever, for the technical aspects, like you're actually in the world of
Yeah.
these movies. This, they tried, but doesn't really bring me into the Men in Black world.
Really? Okay.
Like
See,
it
I've never
tried.
watched any of the movies, so I don't know.
I've watched all three. Not
I'm sure you
including-
have.
Not including Men in Black International.
Ah, okay.
But I really did enjoy the first movie. The first movie was pretty good.
All right.
And this came out like right after the first movie. But I don't know. It was just like it was smaller and more cramped than what I was anticipating it to be. Because there's like, if you go into their headquarters or whatever, the Men in Black headquarters, it's huge. It's so clean and so white. There's all these aliens and all that, and all over the place. Here it's just like a little room, little white painted room with some aliens, but not a whole lot.
I did get that white room vibe in the waiting area queue. I kind of felt that, but once we got on the ride, that it was like you're out on the streets or something.
Yeah, but no, once you were in the lines to get on the ride too, it was just kind of meh.
Yeah, overall, I mean, I didn't hate it, but it's not like it was the most amazing thing I've ever been on, you know?
I mean, I was kind of bored while doing, on this ride. I was just...
But we were also probably really tired.
Maybe that was the case too, but it just didn't get me excited. Like, I was tired when I was riding the Mummy, and the Mummy was really great.
Fair enough.
This thing is just boring. It tried. Like, I saw some cues from the movie, but it just didn't execute it all that well.
Yeah. I feel that.
I mean, Will Smith makes his return, which gets a few points for me, but overall it was just kind of meh.
Yeah.
So, you got anything else to say about this ride?
As the fake Gaben would say on that YouTube video, not really. So,
Yeah, alright then. Well, what would you give a rating? What would you give a rating from this thing?
how did we rate this? I feel like it wasn't a letter scale. It was something different.
It's not a letter scale. I think it was oh wait, no, it was something out of 10. So, what would you give out of 10?
Oh. That's probably 4.5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
4.5 out of 10?
Yeah.
Dang, I gave it a 2 out of 10. Only because
wow.
Will Smith is in the game. Kind of like Brendan Fraser was in The Mummy. Will Smith is in this, and it's actually pretty good.
I mean, to be fair, the gameplay aspect, it's kind of fun to play the game part, but
yeah, it's kind of fun. It's like
gives it the element of goodness, but that plus it kind of has that 90s feel, which is kind of nostalgic, but that's all it has going for it.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna apparently open another one in Universal Studios Beijing.
Hopefully it's better.
Opening in spring of 2021.
Wow. I hope it's better.
Whatever. Chief Zed was in this thing, but Agent J, aka Will Smith, is in this thing, and that's the reason why it gets a 2. Otherwise, if Will Smith wasn't in this, I give it 0.5 out of 10.
Wow.
Because it's just a overly done version of laser tag, and I could play laser.
Pretty much.
I don't have to go to Universal Studios to play laser tag. I can go.
Yeah, neither do I.
I can go to Stars and Strikes down the road.
Well, yeah, down the road in comparison to Orlando, at least.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. I don't even care anymore about any of that crap. Men in Black, Alien Attack, more like Men in Black. Snoozy lose. Oh.
Or like oh, I got it. Here's a good one. Men in Black. The ride designers were on crack.
Oh.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's 2. Number 1 being A Tale of Two Shitties.
Yeah.
I've had that one around for years.
Yeah.
Believe me.
I would imagine so. Let's not get too triggered again.
Oh no, we're not going back there.
Thank God. And now comes Memeopolis. This new sporadic meme craze.
Yes. And
This one we're doing on Doug the Memphis bus driver.
and
Okay, what do you do for a living, Jeff? FedEx. No kidding. That's great. We'll get back to you in a minute. Turn the mic on. What? Turn the mic on. What's your name? Doug, good to have you here. Doug, where you from? Memphis, anybody else? What do you do for a living, Doug? You drive a school bus. Well, that'll keep the kids quiet, won't it? Good to have you, Doug. How long you been driving a school bus for? 5 years. Look, turn the mic back on. I can't talk anymore. Go ahead and listen to Doug. I'll be back in a minute.
AKA,
you could say that he's no laughing matter.
Oh,
For sure.
AKA, if you look on YouTube, he's Dad laughing at Comedy Barn.
Either that or the one where he's in that like yellow striped polo shirt and he's just sitting there laughing
On Skype.
at nothing on Skype. The one on Skype's the one where he's like yeah. And then
Oh man, and I think the funniest parts
yeah,
of this whole meme experience is that you introduced me to this.
you're welcome. I don't even know how I found it, but it was epic. This and
found this from you, and it was
Ansley
back,
Harry.
Yeah, it was we were playing Wii Jeopardy.
No. Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune
Yeah.
Jeopardy. Or Wheel of Fortune Wii. And
Yeah.
you have a me character
and
based
you can-
on Doug. And
And you can give him a voice, which you better believe I have used that to the fullest potential.
what happens when you won? What was the thing when you lost again?
When you win, I believe he's like yeah. And the best part is that the time ran out when I was trying to record it, so the last yaw is just a yeah. And then it's so abrupt. Then if you don't guess the letters like bang, he. Then
Oh man.
just some I won't go too in depth, but some other examples we have as characters was Ansley Harriet, whom we will cover in a future video.
We definitely will.
We had some of our high school teachers, Michael Jackson, who says that
who is not. This is before all the allegations came out about him, and didn't really age well. So let's move on.
what else? Who else was on there? There's someone else. I think Mario was a character,
It's me, I'm Mario.
and now I'm inspired to if I have the microphone, I'm gonna
Michael Rosen.
actually, you inspired me there. That's not what I was going for, but I may do that. I was thinking change Mario's voice to Hotel Mario, which is another meme we're gonna talk about. As in,
A future podcast.
I want you to do me in
this-
spaghetti sauce, BB.
but,
I want a extra garlic
But
bread. And that's
this,
all for-
but this memeopolis is about Doug, the Memphis bus driver. So
Yes,
the
Douglas.
story of Doug, the Memphis bus driver. Why do we call him Doug, the Memphis bus driver? Because his name is
Well,
Doug, and
yeah.
he lives in Memphis, and apparently he's a bus driver for.
As
like,
he said in his radio interview or something, he's like, "Yeah, I
We'll-
drive
we'll get
school
to-
bus."
We'll get to the interviews later because they're fascinating in itself. But the biography of Doug is that he lives in Memphis and he's a bus driver, and he's been he's not really all that educated,
I don't suppose he is.
I guess, because he's a bus driver, but he's a great guy. He doesn't he didn't stay for too much attention. He just went on his interviews, and once the meme kind of petered out, that was it, and he moved on with his life, which was good.
Really,
He's a very classy man. He's a very classy guy. If we ever in Tennessee again, I am going to search high and low for Doug because I want.
we
to
have
meet
to
this
go. We have to go the opposite end of the state, furthest away from us, in the top corner in Memphis, if we want to find him.
man. Okay, I'm down with that.
I'm sure
Yes.
you are. You're always down to travel.
Yeah, I'm down to travel and not become George from It's a Wonderful Life, constantly stuck in my city. Anyway, so
And
I guess there's this comedy shack called Comedy Barn. I guess it's in Dollywood. Is that right?
Pigeon Forge,
Pigeon Forge. That was close.
which is where Dollywood is located.
Well, there you
It's
go.
not part of Dollywood though.
All right then.
Um,
So there's this so there's this thing that they bring everybody up, bring 4 people up, and which one, by the way, we gotta do that at one point.
yeah, I agree.
Like one point we gotta go to Memphis and just be there, I guess. Although
Or go to Pigeon Forge to the Comedy Barn.
yeah, just to see the
Funny.
show, I guess, if we must. But
Yeah,
it just seemed just kind of bad. But
yeah, it was a little cheesy. Probably funny to elderly people,
very
but
cheesy,
not to us.
like
you
old
know.
old rednecks, but
Yeah.
not us. Anyway, so Doug was there, and he started, I guess he started laughing at the host. The host just it was hilarious. It was he started laughing. He had the mic go on him because he didn't have a mic yet, and
Right.
he just started. Doug just started laughing, and
Pretty much.
everyone just
Pretty
started.
much.
Everyone just started laughing with him, and
Yeah.
thus a meme was born. And
Thus it was, man.
oh my gosh, it was great.
Wow.
It lasted for
Yeah.
20 minutes, I think. This whole laughing thing was 20 minutes.
It went on for a long time. I know that.
This redneck was like, "Oh, turn the mic off! Mic
Turn the
off!
mic on! Yeah, pretty much.
Mic
Turn the
off!
mic on!
Turn the mic off! Turn the mic off!"
Pretty much.
Which is almost as funny, I guess, because the redneckness.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Oh man. Anywho,
So,
so yeah.
yeah.
That, so that happened.
That's Memphis bus driver Douglas for you.
That's not it yet.
Oh, you got more?
Oh yes, there is more, son. And even when he's doing the sound effect. Like he has the he has to people like touch his bald. The host like touched his bald head so he can open his mouth. Even that's like hilarious.
Oh yeah, he like whacked him with a foam drumstick or something.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And then that sprouted, I guess, the Skype call where we got a more in-depth version of Doug at his estate, if you will, the Doug estate. And we saw up close and personal in all the great microphone glory through Skype Doug's full laugh in its entirety, and it is some of the best piece of footage YouTube has ever brought to us.
Yeah, and
Oh my gosh.
the only thing else I'll add is so in the end, I think he got interviewed on many talk shows and stuff, and
Yes, he did. Let's talk about that.
eventually he like partnered with something called like Laughs Across America, maybe. I can't remember the name, but it was something that he promoted. And then I think he even had an official app on the App Store. But it's gone now.
Oh
I
man,
totally would have downloaded it.
I
but
would have downloaded it too. My gosh,
It's not there anymore.
that sucks.
It really does.
Anywho, it seems like while he had his 5 seconds of fame, he
Yeah.
did try to help out the world. Like
He did, which
Like-
was good.
he laughed on his interviews, and he made he made the people laugh with him.
And one of the
Hilarious.
best things is I remember now when he was telling the story about the laugh and how it developed. The first time he ever laughed like that he could remember was when his older brother like tackled him when he was a kid and he fell down. Then he just started laughing like that, like he got me, I guess, or something like that. So then he also said that apparently his mom laughs like that too, which I'm guessing she's dead, so we can't hear that footage, but that would
man.
probably be equally hilarious.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh. If
Oh, wow.
so anywho, he tried to help as much as he could,
Yeah,
which is great.
he did.
He got some extra cash in his pocket
Yeah.
for retirement, which is good for him. And thank you, meme lord Doug. You
Yes,
inspired
thank
us. And the best part about it is like we're not laughing at him. His laugh is just so contagious.
Yeah, it
we're
is.
like laughing
The-
with him, which is great.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of memes.
For real.
So thank you, Doug, in all your glory. May you live forever in
Yes.
the memes in the meme hall of memes.
The Eternal Douglas.
And we close this out with a yaw
Yaw, 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 yaw. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And so on and so forth.
And that's all for Memopolis.
That's it.
Now on to recommendations.
All right.
This is where we recommend a particular thing that might be underrated, that we picked from our best and worst, that it's not really appreciated, but we recommend that you guys go out and check it out.
100%.
Hendry, let's talk about your recommendation for AC/DC.
Guys, check out the Powerage album. What an underrated album that is. I don't know why it didn't get any more critically acclaim. It has, or critical acclaim, excuse me. It has the song Riff Raff, which is like one of my top 3 favorites of all time.
Riff Raff, street rats.
And it's
They
definitely not
don't
that one.
buy that.
Thank God it's not the one in Aladdin. Otherwise, they would probably be face palming so hard in the UK right now, in their homes, in their mansions. Like, oh, that's pretty bad. Yes. And so I'm glad you liked my Angus Young voice. It's here. You know what? It's hard to describe it, so here's how I'm gonna explain it.
Oh, you're gonna play it, aren't you?
Yes.
Of course.
Don't worry. Just a brief little sample. And if you don't think this is catchy, then you're a midge. Go cook a sausage. Come on.
Oh, that's so catchy.
Hold on. You're having a technical difficulty here,
Technical
folks.
difficulties. That's so catchy. It makes me want to. It just sings to me.
What? Hold on a second. What's going on? Alright, folks. We're having an issue here. Let's see. That should have worked.
I can hear it.
I don't hear the actual. Oh, wait. I bet that's it. Ah, okay. Okay. There it is. Alright. And now, I present to you Riff Raff.
All right, that sounds boneless.
And that was Riff Raff.
Eat.
And that's it for Mr. Gibson.
Yes. And
Fun fact, I played that on a Gibson SG Standard. That is the guitar AC/DC guitarist Angus Young uses. I have AC/DC guitar, and you just heard it.
well, there you go.
So, in a nutshell, it's got that song. It's got Rock and Roll Damnation, which is a good one, and it's got Gone Shootin', which is good. It's kind of a bluesy thing, but it's still catchy. Great album. I've got a copy of the original vinyl release. I don't think it's the first run vinyl, but it's probably the second run. So, yeah, that's my recommendation.
And there we go. Pretty good recommendation as it is.
Thank you.
So for my recommendation, there are many novels that I would recommend, but I'm going to stick with one.
All right.
And that is kind of a more or less underrated book by one of the greats, Stephen King, and that is 11/22/63.
Okay.
Written by Stephen King. Now look, I am a big fan of sci-fi. I'm also a big fan of conspiracy theories of history, and I'm also a big fan of history. And 11/22/63 has all of that wrapped into one.
Yeah. All right.
This book is filled to the brim with historic stuff. It's filled to the brim with conspiracy theories based on JFK. It's based on all this stuff. It has this guy who's like a writer in Maine. Oh, wow, what a surprise, what a shocker.
For real.
But
Like every Stephen King book.
yeah, like every Stephen King book. Anyway, he finds a wormhole in this old diner, and
Yeah.
he goes through it, and he lands in November 14th, 1960, or something like that. It was like 1960. And
Yeah.
you can go into it. You go into this wormhole. You can change the past if you want to. But if you have to re-enter into the wormhole and enter back into 1960, then you will erase everything that you did from the previous adventure. So if you carved something in a tree from one trip and then you went back and then you re-entered, then re-entered the future or whatever, the present, then that carving will not be there because you did that 2 trips ago. And so his mentor or whatever dies of cancer because he's been going through it so much, I guess. And his main goal was to find out how to stop the assassination of JFK.
Yeah.
Simply because he thinks the reason the whole world is just an utter abomination is because of the assassination of JFK. Because before JFK was assassinated, everything was kind of hunky-dory, kind of peachy keen and all that stuff.
Right.
Then after JFK, we got the Vietnam War, we got the wild protests, we got nuclear tests and all that, and we got Iran and 9/11 and all that stuff.
Right. Right.
All because, I guess, according to his mind, JFK was assassinated. So, this guy goes into the past to stop the assassination of JFK, along with trying to debunk other conspiracy theorists and conspiracy theories and try to see what exactly happened the night or the day JFK died. Who was behind it? Was there a third shooter on the grassy knoll? All that stuff.
Right.
And in that sense, it's pretty fascinating. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, honestly. It's very intriguing, it's very, like, thrilling. With its drama and its sci-fi and all that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Siri was
Good
kind
old
of
Siri.
on there for some reason. Anyway,
Weird.
so it's very enthralling with its drama, and it has some comedy in there too. And it's kind of, Stephen King actually said it was kind of a commentary on the fact that people think like the 60s and the 50s and all that were like these grand old times, when in fact they actually weren't. They were pretty dark.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it's clearly shown here, especially since Stephen King kind of lived through those times. So yeah, overall it's very enthralling. There's even a It reference in it where there's like this really weird kind of like extraterrestrial being that kind of represents time and all that. Also, time tries to stop the main character from kind of like killing Lee Harvey Oswald, or stopping the JFK assassination, because it's kind of the ripple effect almost.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Definitely.
it's kind of like this ripple effect that's pretty prevalent in this this book, which is very well done. It's very intriguing. It's a very long book, so if you're in for a read, buckle up, because you're gonna be there for a while. Like
oh boy,
like Stephen King's It. But overall, it's a very fascinating book. I recommend picking up the Audible version, so you can listen to it in the radio on the road.
All right.
And it's that's my recommendation. Hope you guys check it out.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you don't want
to.
You don't want to talk about this anymore, which I understand. Okay, cool.
Well, I mean, I'm acknowledging your recommendation, but
okay.
And it sounds like it'd be kind of cool, and anytime the wisest reference, that's good. And on top of the whole plot being based around going back in time through the wormhole without Morgan Freeman, at least, to like prevent JFK from being killed. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, what is your best and worst thing going to be next week?
Next week, I'm thinking of best and worst Ford F-150
Ah,
generation.
yes.
Hey, man!
Yes. Ford. Here we go.
Shit.
I'll have some stuff to say about Ford. Right.
Me
there.
too. Alrighty.
Best trucks, best overall car company. Great.
I agree. Except for a specific era that I will talk about next time.
Well, okay then. Suppose it's my pick for best and worst. I haven't really thought about it. I guess I'm gonna pick Did you hear that?
Yes.
That will be edited out. Oh.
Don't delete it for good though. Like that has to be an outtake that we always have for life or something.
Okay. Anyway,
Those good. Try again.
my best and worst for next time will I don't know, probably be movie based again.
All right.
I haven't done a movie thing in like 2 episodes, so might as well.
Okay.
I'll pick the best and worst. I already did superheroes, I think.
Yeah.
Best and worst. Do the best and worst comic book superhero. There we go. Oh wait, no.
Okay.
No. Scratch that. Best
Aw.
and worst animated movie. There we go. That's it. Done.
All right. Cool. So, for the theme park ride review, I'm gonna say either the Hulk or the Doctor Doom ride.
All right, let's do the Hulk then.
Okay. Hulk it is.
Well, Hulk it is, and Memopolis next week will be I think maybe Michael
Either-
Rosen.
Michael Rose. All right, good.
Michael Rosen.
I like rap. I like it.
Yeah, that's what's coming up next week. Get ready, be prepared, and with all of us, I'm Slam This is Skits, and we'll see
And
you
we
next
will
time.
see